Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, I said, are you ready? Well, welcome to Scalatore, Trofeo Scalatore. This is the final. There are no more second chances. And let's get ready for some pro cycling. And if you ain't done with that, I've got two words for you. Joe Whiteley, welcome.
That was 3, but yes, we'll take it.
All
We'll,
right, that works.
we'll take it. We'll take it.
Th-
We'll take it.
There was a an actual not a question mark, a comma, no, a period, fucking period. So it was two sentences. The first was the two words, and then welcome. So Joe, we are here gathered for what in theory seems like a very boring final. I'm not gonna lie. However, it does have some ingredients to become interesting pretty quickly. Uh, I think that at this point, the main candidates should be considered as Frabo and Basso. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think you'd have to put them to as favorites. I think everyone else is going to be looking for, how do we say, opportunities to sneak under the radar.
Uh, would you agree that looking at our lobby, which I'm still trying to identify at this point because they may not even sending me a slide. Wait, um, I have no idea who's there. I should know these things, right?
Probably yes,
All right.
but I don't blame you for not.
Thank you. So we have Basto Al Colombiano, Goga, Agap, Il Grandissimo Fravo, and Ibra. Thoughts about this lobby?
I think it could cause some upsets, and I
Would
think
you
as well.
agree that, sorry to interrupt you, would you agree that Fravo's main chance here could be with long distance attacks, that usually his short distance moves don't always work as well for him?
I think his main chance is for people to start focusing certain players, and then maybe he gets like a bit of a not a free pass, but he gets a bit of
But
space
some leeway.
to attack, yeah. And then I think he's best when he kind of just is by himself doing his own thing, and hopefully behind there's a lot of chaos to give him extra space. So, yeah.
All right. And Ibra comes as a possible name for the podium, even for a fight. Maybe El Colombiano, Goga, and Agap. Goga being a very experienced player. Agap already has been also in some interesting fights. And El Colombiano, that also likes to do his solos. Would you see these three as outsiders and Ibra more as a guy with some already ongoing success as someone that can be seen as one of the top three favorites, I guess?
I think if you are one of the players that obviously you probably sat there thinking I'm not one of the better players in the lobby, you've kind of just got to go with the flow, hope that the main competitors find themselves again looking at themselves. I mean, it's one of the more effective ways to win a stage when you're taking advantage of people looking at each other. And
So we're
yeah,
seeing
whether
the
they have to
parcours
call it
right
not.
now at the stream. Sorry to interrupt you, Joe. I'm just trying to get all of this out of the way before we start. We will talk about a bit more about the competitors when the race starts. We're seeing three mountain stages, obviously, as this is Criterium dello Scalatore. I don't remember the edition, 16th maybe, uh, where PCMBK actually has a podium there, recorded by the biggest of all dogs. And I'm sure you could have gotten a gold at this point if you had bothered to subscribe, or at least a podium. Three mountain stages: Bolzano Passo Sala, Albertville La Tussure, and Saint-Giron Luzardidan. What do you think we can expect to see in these stages? We know the DB, we know the participants, now we know the parcours.
Yeah, I think there's obviously a lot of climbing, nothing short of what you'd expect, but Yeah, I think in the first stage, it might be one of two things. You're going to see absolute chaos where, someone does a crazy solo or two people do a crazy like duo attack, or it's going to be like one of those bunch sprints. I think then in stage 2 and 3, the race might open up a bit more tactical battles.
You were we are seeing the parkours now live on the stream as we were talking about. You were gonna finish your reasoning about the participants. You were saying specifically that when you're not seen as one of those main competitors, if I remember correctly, that a chance might open there. Would you care to explain?
Yeah, I mean, with there's 6 people in the lobby, isn't there? If I'm
Yeah.
not yeah. So you can
Yes,
quite
and
easily find yourself having at least 2 or 3 people focusing themselves, and then it's just you versus another 2 people who would probably be on a similar level to you. So obviously, the chances of winning or getting a good performance in increase significantly when people start to take their eye off their own stage and start focusing on other people.
Specifically regarding who can be the favorite here, regarding also that this is a mountain, energy management always comes back as an important thing, even though DB with a new energy system that hasn't been quite frankly friendly enough for all of us as players since the inception of 22 and now 23, that upgraded from that. Do you think that energy management is going to be so important as it should be on the mountain stage, or with this game system that is kind of broken still needs to be perfected? It isn't going to matter as much as it should.
I mean, it can work in 2 ways. You can have an energy system where people feel the need to not attack and not spend bars and therefore not relay, which then in turn, if you do a solo attack, there are going to be less people willing to chase you.
Do you have
So
some?
it can work in both ways, to be fair.
All right. Hello, Frabo.
Aye, aye.
Are you ready for this final?
No.
Okay, that's
I
at
don't
least
like
that's
to play
honest.
for second place, honestly.
You think Boss already has it?
No, but
Then
for
why
the
would you
people,
say that?
let him go because I already know that he's strong.
Well, I think that's something in the mind of the players. They need to realize that Basso, like anyone else, is just human. Yes, he's a good manager when it comes to energy. He knows the game concepts, the mechanics, and all that. But he's not a god. I've proven that, and I'm just me, and I've attacked him or went with him or responded to his attacks at some point. And like everyone else, he is human. His energy doesn't last for forever. So
Stupid.
I do hope that
Wait.
the participants remember that so we can have a close and fun final.
Yeah, and I think now more than ever before, this edition of PCM, it really favours just obviously sticking with the better player and just not doing anything with them. So you could quite easily see a situation where if the players are smart, the best way to beat the best person in the lobby is to just follow him and sit on his wheel, because unfortunately that's the way the game works at the moment, where there isn't much of a skill gap, and if you aren't necessarily one of the better players and you feel that you get the right to not do anything because of that, you have equally as good chance. I mean, people like to say, "Oh, I'm not a favourite. Oh, I'm not this. I'm not a good player." Blah blah blah. But when the skill gap is about 1 or 2% from
Joe,
top
do you
50
remember
players
this
to a
stage?
top one, I'm speaking from a top 50 player to a top one player, there's very little you can do if 1 or 2 people start to take notice of your race. So
You
yeah.
should probably listen, Frabo. This is useful stuff. Frabo, you were saying?
Joe, do you remember this stage? I think yes.
Uh, Stage 2 of the tour that I won 2 years ago.
No, stage when you got destroyed by me in Champions League.
I see. That's why you remember it and I don't. I see. Fair enough. I would also like to refer to the fact that it's funny that you brought that up, because the only real reason why I lost that is because of the exact same explanation I've just given to Sean right now about how
True,
very
actually.
easily the best person in the lobby, regardless of how good they are, can easily come last if a couple of people play a bit brain dead. That's just how it works, unfortunately.
Good.
Yeah, I don't understand nothing of what you just said, Maya. For the KOM class, it's the points between the brackets. For the individual classes, the points between brackets are the. I have no idea what you're talking about. Is this individual? Is this stage or final classification? Okay, stage winner first rider. Looking into the point system to explain to those that one day will look at this in their retirement homes. Okay. So, first stage, it's a 170, 50, 35, 25, 18 point system. If you do 1, 2, you do get 100 plus 20, so the 20 points bonus. And the third will obviously score the 70 points, like in the World Championship. We do have the KOM classification as well that will give 50 points for the winner, I believe. 35, 35, 18, and 13 then. Is this correct? Okay. For the KOM, we will sum the points of all riders, the sum of all riders. 50 goes for the winner, as I said, and 35, 25, 18, and 13. For the TV sprints, the intermediate sprints known as the TV sprints in this competition, we have for the winner 5 points, for the second place 2 points, and for the loser that is third place 1 point. And then the losers that do not score even that are bigger losers. Then you can accumulate with individual classification these sprint bonus points. Joe, would you say that with this system we might have some interesting surprises or a close final, or is it still too soon to call? Can it be that it will be too much depending on the rating of the actual lobby?
I think it depends completely on the attitude of the people who actually in the lobby. I mean, if you go into this thinking, "Oh, a top 3 is good for me. I'll play for a top 3," you can very quickly
Get
see a
fucked.
situation where 1 or 2 people will just run away with it. If everybody in the lobby is playing for the win, then it could be up for grabs, because obviously everyone's then going to have a reason to pace down someone's solo attack
Igen,
or a duo's attack. So it completely depends on the attitude of the players. Whether the bars and obviously make a difference, well, we'll have to see. But obviously, we do race this as like a classic, so the bars aren't going to be as big of an issue as they would be in a tour.
Indeed. Joe, we often talk about the favorites, as we did. This guy is a favorite. These guys are the top 2 or 3 favorites. But who here is in the other spectrum? Who could be considered the ultimate underdog in this lobby, for example?
I think El Colombiano, Goga, and Aga, I think all 3 of them are on a very similar wavelength and also have a very similar gameplay. So it's like I said, it depends on their attitude. If their attitude is just to sit there and make up the numbers in the lobby, well then
Which usually is.
Basso or Frabo will easily win. If they're here to actually compete and get a gold medal, well then the top players won't have it just all their way. So it completely depends on the attitude. And I know that's very stating the obvious, but I
But
feel like
it is still stated for some reason. Big question
something
for
as
you,
simple
Joe.
as a person's motive within a stage can completely change the outcome. So yeah.
Big question for you, Joe. Will Basso bottle another final? Uh, Maybe not as much pressure as there would be because it's not the World Championships, which he values, like most of us, obviously, above all when it comes to winning. But could the pressure be an enemy for Basso at some point if things don't start well, or if they somehow start going weirdly mid race?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like the term bottling a final. I mean,
No, I
obviously,
do. It's something I do really
yeah,
currently, so I have to embrace
I
it,
always think to bottle the final, you got to make the final, which is already better than 90% of the players who compete. But
which is true, yes. But when you actually reach it,
if we're looking at the
someone has to win,
stats,
someone has
yeah,
to lose.
if we're looking at the track record, should we say?
Yeah.
Obviously, he has. I wouldn't say underperformed, but maybe just not performed as well as he would have wanted to by himself, his own standards, let's say. But yeah, I mean, some people are just very, very good players, and then when they come to a final with other very good players, the dynamic changes. And I mean, he's more than capable of winning every single road event in a given World Championship. It's just obviously, like he said, just because you are the best player in the lobby doesn't always get you the win. You know, you've got to.
Oh no, I have a big apple by me.
You've got to rely on the competence of the other people in your lobby.
Frabo opening the hostilities with an attack with a Scalable Rider, Ivan Garcia Cortina, and I believe it is A-Gap, which we riders immediately moves. One was the puncher, I didn't see the others. But we had a shy attempt of a breakaway as we go into stage 1. That is close to 200 kilometers. We have 191.2 to go at this point. Quite a few KOMs that will be important. 2 intermediate sprints, known as the TV sprints here, which are close to the end. They're at strategical points, Joe, because they're at the bottom of a downhill and right before the beginning of a climb. Would you say that how people approach these intermediate sprints can end up changing their outcome for the race?
I think for the points they give, they're not going to be very important, and unless you're alone solo by about 10-15 seconds, I don't think anyone's going to necessarily be overcooking themselves to win it. I think
we have, sorry to interrupt, we have A-Gap at the front, and wait, I was checking with the wrong stream. There we go, A-Gap already at the front, if you can check on it, Emil, with the 82 Mountain Rider. Where is he? Emil?
No. Oh, wait, yeah, no.
Did it change? It's Goga. It's Goga there.
Oh, it's Goga, sorry, yes, Goga. Yeah. Joe, what's the benefit of a move like this so early? Can it be beneficial? Is it just a bit too soon?
You're one of the worst players in the group, therefore you hope to get a little bit out of your way, I think. In simple terms, whether that's the thought process, I mean, it probably won't be, but
no risk, no gain also.
I think the biggest advantage of being a weaker player is exactly that. You get more room. And also you get some of the KOMs, although it seems like A-Gap's going to go for that instead. Sorry, Elfenbein is going to go for them.
We have just a quick public service announcement for the clarity of those of the millions watching at home. That the train limit is 3, with 4 riders allowed in the climbs and break. Also known as the noob rule every time that there's some kind of train limits. But sometimes we do understand their existence, as we see. El Colombiano, as usual, attacking early, is already at the front, with A-Gap closing in, and he's going to be fighting for them ranking points with the Ukrainian player.
It's not a surprise seeing El Colombiano go for the KOMs,
yes.
Is it?
Sorry?
But it's not really much of a surprise seeing El Colombiano going for the KOMs, is it?
No, it's like...
become a bit of a one-trick pony, isn't it, since the World Championship success that he had doing it?
Yes, I believe so. I agree with that. Much like it is Frabo's one trick to attack and succeed, my trick to actually do everything right until I then bottle it in the end, your trick to actually win stuff all the time.
There are some legs that just can't take the speed anymore.
But yeah, I do agree that he's been I think A-Gap and Goga as well. I think, and even El Colombiano, like you said, they're very similar players, and their MO is usually very recurrent, very similar, and I think they might want to look into that if they want to have more success in the future, because I think they can, like everyone can, and they're not deprived of skills entirely, but I think they do need to fix their strategy.
I don't think it's a surprise, though, that 2 of the 3 weaker players that we mentioned are both going all hell for leather for this KOM.
Is it beneficial? If they, at the end of the day, if one of them gets it, it's 50 points. It's not enough to win or even for a medal, but it can be very handy if they can control and obtain decent stage outcomes. The question is, by sending a leader, Is that compromise the possible stage classification?
Yeah, I mean, people's weird tactics can sometimes, derail, I guess, a potential strategy. But I think with a lobby like this, when you've clearly got 3 very good players and 3 then just no disrespect to these players, but obviously you wouldn't
Obviously.
see many of these people in many World Championship finals.
I hope not. God.
It's going to be a case like when you see El Colombiano and Goga attacking with their leaders in the first climb out of 3 big stages. Yeah, it does sometimes throw what you would associate normality out the window.
Quick update from KOM1. It was Carlos Rodriguez from AGAP stealing them ranking points, the 10 points to El Colombiano. They did second and third, then he got 14, 8 and 6 respectively. Then they gets another 4 points in fourth place, so they both get 14 points. And then Bora Hansgrohe, whoever the fuck that is, has 2 and 1, that's 2 points.
Ibra is
Alright, nice. The stage was picked by Basso, by the way. As you know, every finalist has the right to pick a stage. Basso having won convincingly the first stage of the tournament, qualifying ahead of everyone else. Starts with the bonus 30 points. El Colombiano with 15. I don't know how or why, but best of luck to him, because that's 15 points might be enough to win or lose something, a medal, the tournament. Basso with 30, is this an even major alarm for others here?
No, because I think regardless of him starting on those extra points or not, he would be the main favourite in the lobby, and I think people would naturally start to, well, they should start to watch what he does in the game and then respond to it accordingly. But obviously, certain players in the lobby will kind of just play their own way. And
Trying to identify who's where. I mean, how many leaders are there here? If you could show us.
I don't think any of them actually are here.
Yeah, that actually changed. I was gonna say that probably changed since the last we updated it. And I'm going to guess that maybe there's some 70 whatever right?
I think there's a leader in A2.
If you can quickly check A2 in there.
Yeah, and
there is.
I go see him attacking to the breakaway.
With 28 seconds and
someone's trying to follow. Attack's going behind.
And it's AGAP, and that's probably Gary Thomas right there. It is.
Yeah. Well, this is the rest of the race now, so these will all be the leaders. Interesting. Bora Hansgrohe is in here. Ibra. So either Ibra's in A3 or he's already in the peloton. He's in the front.
Quick thinking from Ibra. Would you say?
Yeah. Well, I didn't actually see him attack, so I don't know how much he used to get there, but him and Goga, both with their leaders and both working.
Wait, are you kidding me? I mean, people have penalty points according to how they classified, 10 for Ibra and 20 for AF. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, because they're reserves, even though...
man, this hate on the reserves is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, man. One day you're not...
And also the points for winning the group as well. But
yes, it's stupid. Both are. I agree. A final is a final. Should start from scratch.
I think in this it's fair enough, but in a World Championship you can't...
I mean, this has become a staple of the tournament. Yes.
You could have 2 different groups of completely different abilities, and one person gets an advantage for winning a Paralympic group. I don't agree with it.
As someone who has been a reservist,
once you pass the round, everything before that is irrelevant.
As someone who has been a reservist in World Championship finals 0 times and actually had to earn my way through the ones I played, I still have to be sympathetic with reservists. And
I think if you're a reserve, yes, you're lucky to play, but you also made your own luck by being good enough in the last round to be the first reserve.
Yeah, I mean, a final, sure, this has been a staple of this tournament, nothing against that. But I hope this doesn't become ever a thing in the World Championship, because we want a World Championship final as a clean slate, where all 6 guys have a chance to dazzle us, fight for it, to use their tactics fully without others being in benefit of that. And we see right now Ibra putting some pace at the front. I think he's the only leader here, right?
With Ben O'Connor. Goga's
A-gap.
team, who was taking a
Goga's,
bit
yes.
he's getting a decent little not free ride because he's also working at the front, but simply by his leader being further back than Ebers, he's getting a bit of a free ride. And Ebers, I think, is
He has a respectable gap here at this point.
we should have a time gap on Pierre Lator and probably Jai Hindi in there, just to keep an eye on the gaps.
Yes, I would agree with that. If we could get the gap between Lotor and what's his name?
Jai Hindi.
Jai Henley.
Probably not Connor. Yeah. Well, I mean, all the groups have come back together as soon as we've done that. But
yeah, but still,
when the groups get
let it be. Yeah, but let it be because it's going to be.
Yeah. But 3 minutes.
3 minutes, Joe. Is this respectable enough gap for Ebert to try and actually steal this stage from the competition?
It is, but it depends on how much he's had to use to establish this gap, which I would imagine for this early on has a lot of energy.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. If you had to estimate, given your experience, would you say that a lot was needed, especially with the move that there was in that flat section?
I think if they were to maintain 3 minutes by the top, he would have had to kill pretty much everyone bar 2 domestics, I would say.
All right.
Three best climbs. But the thing is, the gap can come back. One single attack can knock 30-40 seconds away from it, especially now that the front.
Yeah, already 1 minute fell off of it pretty much.
2 teammates left, which is pretty incredible. We've only got 130k to go. El Colombiano dragging Frabo back to the front, where we see Basso trying to attack away from A-gap. A-gap bringing riders back, and Basso's going to make this bridge. And I would imagine he has more teammates than both Goga and Giga. He's done quite well here. Again, it's all relative at the end of the day. Doesn't matter where you are on the road, as long as you can consistently save teammates, it's good. And El Colombiano continues to drag Frabo back to the front of the race. They are the only people behind the race at the moment now, so. Colombiano's still pacing for Enric Mas, probably been about 6 kilometres now.
Sorry, quick absence, but I am back. What did I miss?
No, I just missed the final 2 leaders coming back to the race. El Colombiano doing pretty much 90% of the work for Frabo, but I think with Frabo having more rides at the front.
So everyone is back together then when it comes to leaders?
Yeah, yeah.
Alright.
Obviously some people have more domestics than others. Goga only has 3, Basso has 5, Ibra has 4, I think Frabo has 4, Colombiano 4, A-gap 4. Sorry, Goga has 4 as well, so.
Tweeber might not be a bad news with what he might have lovely graphics in the middle of the road. I hope every rider is okay.
Who's in A1?
Who's in A1 now? Quick look at A1 email before we die. Oh, we haven't died, but we have time to see. It's just domestic. We have Hugh Carty from El Colombiano, the 77 mountain rider, the main helper, going for them ranking points, followed by Goga and his leader. Goga really trying everything for the KOM.
A crazy thing to do, to be fair.
I must agree. And A-gap taking who? Ethan Hater, that's the puncher. And it's going to be for El Colombiano, the, I don't even know how many points. And then is A-gap, and I believe it was a border rider. So Hugh Carty from El Colombiano is still leading, 26 points, 19.
He's taken all 4 over as well, which is quite good for him, considering that he's right at the front.
Yeah, 13 for Vlasov. Ibra right now managing, I would say, a little bit of the best of the both worlds, getting respectable KOM points, not leading or not second, but third right now. Given that he did have to spend energy and might come back to be hunted for that, could be something useful for him in this first stage.
Basso's still with 5 riders on. If he gets all 5 over, it's finally a crazy advantage on that false flat.
KOM has been a focal point for some players, like Goga. and Alcomiano, and Agap also trying his luck. Now we might take another one here. He's going to take it for sure. Eaton Hater is going to pass ahead, but Alcomiano sends an entire armada of 3 riders, probably the ones he has left, to make sure Ucarty is.
Section, the riders can take a breather, but they can't let their guard drop.
Yeah, I don't think it's a surprise seeing those two go for KOMs, and Basso it does survive with 5.
Sorry.
Frabo doing the smart thing of staying with Basso as well, because he knows that Basso will carry him back to the front.
Basso is really well served here when it comes to domestiques in comparison to most others. I believe he has 5 riders right now, correct?
Yep. Yeah. Again, it just depends on how much cooperation there is going to be at the front. If Basso is allowed to throw back to the front, which it seems like he's going to be, then...
Emma points out that, sorry to interrupt, that sometimes in KOMs it is better to pass with more riders than win. That is true. And he says that, and it's true from what we've seen, that El Colombiano seems to be going for the second strat.
I think El Colombiano goes for any strat that isn't the normal one.
What, sorry?
I think El Colombiano goes for the strategy that isn't the normal one.
Naturally. Currently in the KOM classification, we have Ucarty from El Colombiano leading with 27 points, and Hater from Agap with 21, Alexander Vlasov from Ibra with 13, 10 for Carlos Rodriguez in 4th, also from Agap, 10 for Jai Hindley, also from Ibra in 5th, and 10 also for Nissan Paulos in 6th from El Colombiano. And then another Bora rider, and then only comes Goga's Ben O'Connor with 6, and also from Ibra Kamna in 9th place with 6 points. So I'm also not getting them ranking points, but putting himself in a seems to be a very, very advantaged position to fight for this.
I think it's Goga in A1.
If you can see another 4 riders in A1. It is indeed, and one rider of El Colombiano, a domestique, it is Gal.
Don't know who's in A2, but maybe a domestique.
Maybe a puncher, but if we could quickly see A2 as well in there. But now A1. I see. Yeah. Oh, it is Martinez, so. Also already sending someone at the front to try and at least one rider ahead, maybe gather some KLMs if it is allowed, or keep them at the front for the very least. It's not been as expected so far, obviously. The offensive festival from Boston that many may anticipate, he seems to be pretty much setting it up for later on.
And you see how brain dead some of the people are in this lobby, that just because Agap and Basso attacked one rider, Goga also felt the need to attack with one rider just because he's copying what everyone else is doing. It's quite funny to see. This is where Basso now might get some domestic the road.
And either Anisim or Fabo responds with 2 riders. If we could see who are they, Emma? Actually, if we could see who everyone in this group is.
The front group map.
Wait, is this?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's got Guerrero and Rubio, so I'd imagine the 80 medium mountain and the
Puncher. Yep.
We're now at the halfway stage. It's a good time to take some food.
Vlasov is also here.
Again, though, Ibra and mainly Frabo just kind of following Basso, always going with 1 or 2 less riders just so they then don't have to pace. But
responding to what the Slovakian does, I guess.
Yeah, and then just sitting on his wheel. Although Ibra is actually pacing, but...
Which, to be honest, I can't really blame them entirely.
A good move now from El Colombiano and Basso, who brought their leads up to the front.
As the attack that some people immediately respond to, such is the case with Agap and Ineos. Alexander Vlasov moves ahead.
There's a bit of a silly attack from Ibra, considering that he knew that El Colombiano and Basso would pace, considering they bridged their leaders, so it would be a bit naive to attack in front of that group. And as you can see, they're instantly brought back.
Very tense situation right now. We see Basso with 4 riders in the peloton. Tesson ahead. That's for a grand total of 5. If you guessed it, you won absolutely nothing but the satisfaction of being right. Go Guy C2, El Comiano 4. 5 for
Everyone's got
4.
4, apart
Yeah.
from 5.
Apart from exactly.
Yeah.
When do you expect to see Basso try and make a decisive move for it?
I think not until the penultimate climb, and even then, it depends what happens in the race. If he finds himself in a move before that, then yeah, he'll go with it. But I think if he was to choose an attack off his own back, I would imagine.
El Colombiano and responds to everything Goga, going. Basso responds with 3 riders. Ibra responds with all of his riders, including Jai Haley. Fabo has 2 ahead. And Agap is the sole man left behind without anything in E1.
And he waits for Goga to pace.
Yes, and Goga is pacing against his own riders.
Yeah.
Goga pacing him in.
Pretty much everyone who isn't Ibra is getting a free ride.
What the fuck am I watching right now?
Yeah, you're watching what we thought we'd be watching.
Well, yeah, but you always have that hope that it won't be as retarded as it is being right now.
You kind of feel bad for Ibra there as well, because he made a pretty stealth move with his leader, but someone who already was represented chased him down, and now he...
It is ridiculous.
And all the while, El Cambiano is out front with his leader.
Ibra again.
And now Agap's the one pacing against Ibra, even though last time he kind of just sat there.
This is so mentally challenging to watch.
I would be very frustrated if I was called Ibra.
If I was Ibra, I would probably already be telling people to go censored and some more censored.
I think in this type of lobby though, if that happened the first time, you just got to forget about it and not feel the need to attack, which is exactly what he's doing now. Because look, everyone is just glued in his wheel. He's not going anywhere.
He needs to calm down
and just stop. Yeah,
definitely, because this isn't. I know frustration takes over.
Doing so, I would imagine.
We both know. Everyone here and all of us have already played. And there you go.
I'm not saying he would have survived anyway, but they probably would have. It's 82 kilometers to the top. So.
Yeah, considering 1.7 was always possible. Yeah.
I would imagine everyone's going to have 3 now, apart from Bassett, who will have 4. But El Colombiano is doing brilliant here. He's picking up tons of KOMs. He's still got the same riders.
Yeah, everyone else except Basso, yeah.
And he's got a minute. But this is what happens when you just attack like a man with no name.
Agap might take advantage, and I thought he was going to take advantage of the gap. He doesn't do it properly though, so I don't know what he was trying. He accelerated a bit when he was already sure to be whatever it was he was going to be on that tail end.
I think he was pressing his luck when he saw Higuita about to play a serious start now. Can't spend that much energy.
El Colombiano dominating the KOM standings right now with 37 versus Agap's 21 points of beaten hater. And then El Colombiano again with 16. El Colombiano later on with 8 more points. So he's doing massively solid in that classification. Agap has 21. Then he has 10. And then he doesn't have anything else. Ibra has 13, 10, 8. Also very solid. And 6 more. So.
And Frabo is about to get himself into the golden situation where he can rat in the front group and he can...
And in the... Yeah. He's really a staple from Frabo, which is, honestly, that's the dream for all of us, I guess.
Wow.
For us, but you know what I mean.
You'd rather have dreams in a bit more of a sane way, but yeah.
I'd probably would rather be burned alive than to do nothing an entire stage, but different folks, different strokes, I guess.
I think Basso is attacked with everyone but his leader. It is everyone but his leader. It's exactly what I thought. I think he's just using this lull to gain an advantage with his 75 mountain and this 77 mountain, and I bet you he'll drop the puncher pretty much straight away.
And it's not even risky at all.
When the pace starts to go up behind, he'll drop the puncher and he'll just let the 2 of the guys go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for as long as the pace isn't even high, it's not risky because he has extra energy regarding 2 others and how they played, and he is in a solid enough group to hide and protect his leader as much as possible behind the other riders.
Yeah, although now I think someone's dropped an A1 in there.
A1, Monica?
I don't think
giving me
it's
some
not. It's
info.
not a
He's giving
lead.
me
It's
some-
not a lead. It's not a lead.
Yeah,
But
no.
if you look at the back of the peloton, I think someone was about to drop. I think it was Goga again, but he's back on now because Goga's only got one team.
Goga in the Razor's Edge there right now with only 2 riders, 1
He's got one
teammate,
in
and
front.
not
He's got
well.
one in front, but the guy in front's going to be dead soon anyway because he's being
Uh,
set there.
Question from ML.
Your mic cuts out, Sean.
Fuck my life, sorry. Question from ML. What do you think will happen on Ferrari with the current race situation we have right now?
I think you'll see some people trying to survive with their secondary mountain guy, but inevitably everybody will probably be solo, apart from potentially Basso and potentially Frabo. Maybe El Colombiano as well, purely because he has 2 minutes. But other than that, I would imagine everyone's going to be solo. Yeah.
I kind of have to agree, indeed. And right now we have, I guess Frabo's 77 is at the front left.
Frabo's 77's at the front, yeah. And Basso is bridging with the 2 rides that I said he would be.
Yeah.
Basso's
So
dropped
Frabo's,
so Basso's in the best position here.
Basso is setting it up, indeed, as we expected. And El Colombiano is down.
Especially if Basso can bridge to El Colombiano. And I say that because
Oh,
he will be in a situation where him and Frabo can just wheel suck Colombiano and also wheel suck the peloton, which is exactly what both
makes his move, by the way, as we speak.
Yeah, both Frabo and Basso are doing the same thing here. They're both trying to wheel suck the person in front and wheel suck the group behind. And Frabo, even then, he's so disrespectful, he doesn't even allow the person dragging him to the last 50k to take care.
That's the first, yeah. We have, who was it with the puncher there from Basso?
It was Cosmofoy for Ejitoa, which is actually impressive for Goga, and he's going to need him because he only has
I was going to say he's definitely going to need him after he loses his single helper.
But Basso's in the best situation because he's got 2 rides behind and he's got 2 rides in.
As we are going into the downhill, we are close to the final 2 climbs where we expect to see some action unfolding. Quick question, can Frabo set up a response to Basso? He seems to be the only one at this point that might have good chances for it.
Yeah, I think both will try the same thing. They're both going to try bridge to their 77 mountain on the Fidaya, and it means that those 2 players are the only players in this lobby who will be able to take a teammate over that climb. So they'll both have the advantage on the final climb. Nobody else will, in my opinion. And again, the elephant in the room still remains El Colombiano because he has 3 minutes advantage. And yes, he only has 1 teammate, but like we said, not many people are going to have more than 1 teammate anyway after this climb. In fact, like I say, only Frabo and Basso, I think, will have 1 teammate after this climb. So for him to be in this position and still only having 1 rider, I think it's not actually that bad for him.
Basso is about to catch him up, though.
The best thing for El Colombiano, though, is to actually attack someone like Frabo because then it screws up his plan and also
go to the front. Oh wait, Agap is going with Garen Thomas and his 2 helpers that remain. Hoover is left.
No response.
Response.
The cat amongst the pigeons. Luckily, Frabo has an extra guy to use here.
With Frabo's extra guy, I was going to say he has the same amount as Basso, I believe. Basso has an extra.
Well, you see, this is dangerous now because if Frabo can detach himself from Basso's 2 riders, it could be a stage-winning move.
It could be all she wrote, indeed. Let's see how Basso responds. Oh, but Goga's running. Why do I have a feeling?
Basso has been patient. I think he's wanting Ibra to pace, but I think Ibra knows he's already screwed. So, and Goga's never going to pace.
Goga is actually going to take the 5 points of the intermediate sprints to be added to general classification, and I was going to say El Colombiano is not in a position to respond, and smartly enough he manages to just roll over because even if one of the guys in the break attacked for them, he wouldn't be in a position to respond, risking unnecessary loss of energy.
I'll tell you what, if El Colombiano gets to this ready black section on the Fidaya,
he might have a shot here.
With a teammate, if he gets to that point and then he drops the teammate, I think he might actually have a very
It's
good
4:49 at this point, give or take.
I don't think anyone's going to have many teammates over that time anyway, so for him to be solo, it's not much of a disadvantage.
Joe,
And they
quickly,
don't-
you're Ibra right now. What do you do?
Well, if I'm Ibra, he's already screwed up, so you may as well just try stay with Basso and Goga, which is exactly what Ibra's doing. He knows he can beat Goga, and he knows if Basso is in this position, he can also beat Basso. So either you drag them both and you come last, or you sit on both their wheels and you at least get fourth.
Oh, he's going to respond to Goga though.
But this is what I meant. I mean, Basso made a pretty big mistake, but you can understand why he made it, because he was relying on the competence of someone else to pace. And they
Which
didn't
makes no
pace.
sense given his ability and skill at this game, though. To
Skill
take it
isn't
as far,
always...
to take it
Yeah,
as
but-
far as what I mean.
Yeah, but you can just perform the lobby. What
Sorry?
you consider to be normal sometimes doesn't happen. I think Basso now just has to play it safe. He has to do his own thing.
And he is indeed. He's not. I didn't see the time gap there before the change of group, but he's not that far away, if I saw correctly.
Yeah, but he is currently the last leader on the road.
Indeed, and
By a minute.
it's a minute and 25. It's starting to be dangerous, indeed.
No, I think he'll be back in the peloton, because on this little, like not falls flat, but this section's only like 5-6%. He'll just take his own pace, and then once he hits that red black section, which is like 15 to 20%, he'll go hell from ever. And I think
How
what
does
you'll
the
see
alpha
is,
pace change things here, Joe?
This climb
I
features
think
some
you'll see at
dreadful
the front
percentages.
many people being alone, and Basso will, yes, he'll be
Oh, so
behind, but he'll
have a
have a
helper.
team with him. Yeah. And again, this is what I mean. It depends on the attitude of the group. If this group truly wants to win, they'll
Cart's
cooperate
done.
with
Cart
each other
is
and
done.
just coming back.
Carty is done. So El
Yeah,
Comiano is
it's what we
finally
said, though,
alone.
didn't we? We said if Carthy can survive until this tough section, then
Which
he'll
he
be
did.
okay.
Truth
And
be
he still
told.
holds a massive advantage. It's just a shame for him that the race behind has blown up so much that it's forcing people to chase him whether they wanted to or not.
Indeed, and Latour was alone. I think he lost.
Yeah, but look at the percentage. There's no point dropping a rider back on these
Oh yeah,
percentages.
absolutely.
You're not really gonna
Just
do much. I think
wondering-
Basso's played a good stage here, considering the situation, because I believe he's going to survive. We've not won 2, mate, but 2.
2. Yeah, I was looking at it right
And that's
as
why
we
he's
speak,
in Vuillamos. He's protecting Vuillamos.
as much as he can to pass him through.
I think Carapaz has done great here. And the best thing is, if it all goes to rubbish for Carapaz, he's taken loads of penalty points.
And that is a fact because El Comiano has been
alone.
dominating.
Frabo is alone, although Frabo will have Guerrero to bridge to. And this is important.
And that
It's
will.
really important for the stage
How
here.
big of a difference can it make though, as the difference has fallen?
Well, the only thing that's going to stop Frabo from winning this stage now is if he's too concerned about A-Gap being glued to his wheel, which I can assure you will happen. Just wait for it now.
it will happen, but with
Wait
the
for it,
extra
man.
helper,
Guerrero's going to stop and wait for Mass. Geraint Thomas is just going to stay in the wheel.
oh, Basso is actually
Falling
getting
behind. A team leader
past.
falling
Basso and Frabo are in the same position, it's just Frabo's got 30-40 seconds extra. The only thing that's going to stop Frabo from winning this stage is
If he gets too bothered about having a gap on
Yeah.
his view.
and for some reason he hasn't brought back Guerrero, and I can't explain why he hasn't done that.
I
Guerrero
saw that.
still isn't with us.
I was very
only
surprised
just
with
bridged
that, to
him
be
now.
honest.
They've got a minute.
Would you want to pause, Emil?
No, there's no need to pause. What?
15 kilometers to the finish line.
Did someone crash?
No. I guess we move and analyze later. Yeah, you're right. We move and analyze later. Meanwhile, Richard Carapaz has 2 minutes. That's for the Basso group. No. That's for the Frabo group.
Yeah.
Okay, Emil, stick with E2 for a bit. You know that he's going to take the sprint. There we go. And let's see.
I don't know what Frabo's doing.
I have no freaking idea why he hasn't sent what's his name behind yet. Kai.
It's painful to watch.
What is he doing? If he keeps worrying about A gap, he's gonna just get wrecked by Basso.
There are just 10 kilometers left.
And Agap was equally as stupid in that situation, by the way.
And Deeper completely screwed here. He's the only one that doesn't have a helper other than
There's a
Alcomiano, but he's
reinforcement
at
of
the front,
10%.
obviously. Passo Sala begins. We have 10.5 kilometers of it at 2.2 altitude and 7.2%
I think
camber.
Carapaz has to win. I think Carapaz has to win.
I think so, unless he really damaged his energy somewhere along the way. He should have the stage here. Either that or Frabo.
I equally do not understand what Agap was doing in that near that intermediate sprint, and B, what Frabo was doing in that whole
I
descent.
still have no idea what Frabo was doing, to be honest.
And I don't think Bato is going to get enough help from Goga.
Wait, let me
Goga
take.
shouldn't be helping really because he knows he'll end up finishing last. I think Carapaz has to win this. He's had none of the politics.
Ignore me, I'm just writing this for myself.
He's had none of the politics affecting behind because he's been out front by himself. He's taken all the KO points pretty much.
6.5 to go, 153, 150. In theory, he has this, but
it depends how well he's. If he's absolutely blown himself up where he shouldn't have done, then he'll lose. But if we look at the advantage, it's pretty much 2 minutes, and Frabo doesn't have a teammate. So unless Carapaz is completely dead, which he shouldn't be, but you never know, it's Colombiano, then he should win. And Agap actually is on course for a third place, because look at the group behind. They don't want to bring each other. And this is exactly what I said right at the start of the stream, before any of this was broadcasted. Basso is the best player in the lobby, but sometimes being the best player isn't enough in this game because you have to rely on the competence of others.
Which often in this game
haven't been competent. It's not a case of, oh, maybe Basso should have done this, maybe that. Basso played the best stage. Other than
ability and situation.
Basso played the best stage. He had all the teammates. He's played it very, very well. Maybe one or two mistakes, but he played it the best. But guess what? If someone is there to only follow you, they will ruin your race. It's as simple as that. And honestly, it should be a penalised thing. It's just impossible to penalise.
Yes, I do agree with that.
You would be essentially penalising someone's lack of competence, which, don't get me wrong, is very harsh, but you cannot argue that it has its impact, because it
quick
does.
Interruption though, as we are going to see Richard Carapaz from El Colombiano taking the dub here. That's an important, very first important step for El Colombiano, and he's gonna take much deserved win. Fantastic attack from the Colombian player.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. We can sit here and say, oh, he's been gifted a lot of space because he's only called.
And Agap is third, and Basso is only fourth, and battle for fifth and sixth going to be between those two. And O'Connor is going to beat Ibra that had no helper for a long time. Joe, I was going to ask this during the launching of stage 2, but we can do it now since I also raised the same question. I was going to put you anyway. Basso was far more passive here than he was in round 1, pretty much with the same type of lobby and the same players, probably even the same players, if I recall correctly. What do you think of that?
I don't think he was passive. I just think the attacks he was wanting to do, he couldn't do, mainly because people are either glued to his wheel or somebody like El Colombiano was already being a madman attacking in front of him.
Alright.
You know how the story goes. The first person who attacks normally gets quite a bit of space. The second person who attacks, they always chase.
That is true. Quick question for you. What went wrong for Ibra and Jai Hindley?
He got impatient. He made some good attacks, got closed by, again, incompetent players. But then, instead of just accepting that for what it is, and accepting that the lobby is a bit stupid, he then tried to rectify it by attacking even more, and I think that just screwed his bars. I think also then, after he screwed his bars, he played it way too defensive, and sometimes on stages like this, you can't be defensive.
And we have an important update from none other than Mr. Cowan, Mr. IPL.
I'll be back in a second.
Yes, Mr. IPL himself, if you help me here with the soundboard, that Daniel Miko says Basso's really equals 1, 2 stages left. It's easy.
Good.
Thank you, Emma. Yes, perfect. As we can see, you, Carty, and Richard Carapaz destroying everyone else in the KOM rankings. It's looking mighty good for Alcomiano when he add the stage win. It is mighty important. But there's two stages to go. 119 for Enric Miles, that was second place in the stage. Big win for Alcomiano. 153 from the second to third, so over 3 minutes there. And then for Latour, O'Connor, and Eber was 331 down.
Can I say a comment?
Yeah.
You saw in downhill that Agap, I was
No,
pacing in
Frabo.
downhill, and
Wait.
Agap made the gap opens
Uh,
when I
before
was
we get
pacing for
into
him.
those details, I just want to ask you, what were you doing? What the fuck were you doing in that final intermediate sprint, not sending Gaib down to your leader?
No, I sent him. I was pacing. He made
Took a
the gap.
while. Took a while.
He made the gap.
Oh, he made the gap.
Frabo, you can't say someone made the gap. If you have two riders,
Yeah,
you sit in first and second wheel.
I don't know what he's saying.
You always do this where you say, "Oh, I'll pace," but you follow the person pacing. We all know the trick why you.
It's fair.
We all know why you do it. Because at the end of the day, you using a teammate is absolutely fine. Because as long as your leader, who is sat behind another person's leader, gets the save bars, that's all that matters. We all know the trick.
But he decided to do this. I was pacing for him. He decided he traded maybe a second or a first position for almost a fourth.
Yeah, but
Frabo,
then
quick thoughts
his wheel in the
on stage
intermediate
one
sprint
before
thought
we
he
move.
was going to close the gap.
Frabo, quick thoughts on stage one before we move. You did second. Do you think that after Basel being fourth, you have or fourth, that you have a good chance of fighting with him now? Frabo?
I don't understand why you think Paso is so strong, honestly.
Because he
No, I
played the best. He played the best stage. It's just
no. But
like we'd
wait,
say.
let me answer that. Wait. I quite normally rate Basso as I would rate anyone else if I'm in the lobby. He's an opponent like everyone else. But what I have seen, I and many others, is that when he's in the lobby, people seem to be chicken shit afraid of him for some kind of mind block. So yes, I'm asking you, do
Me
you
not.
feel that you have a good chance? Okay, thank you. Joe Whiteley, as we had talked about the possibility, with Basso not winning the first stage, could the panic start to settle in, or at least in this stage he will be more assertive? Would you think that is expected?
I don't think he's going to change anything. I think he played a very good stage.
He did. That's not the point though. But
Again,
not getting the dub, what can we
if
expect?
he looks not in it, and I say look very loosely here because it's not luck. It's just unfortunate that
It is what it
certain
is.
people in the hobby don't take up basic responsibilities.
I never thought I would see the day where we are having to be truthfully sympathetic, but I think Joe is right. As we wait for the outcome of the second stage, I'll be out for 2 quick minutes, but before that, I do have an update on. Okay. The temporary classification, which says El Colombiano is leading with 123 points, 8 from the intermediate sprints, 15 from entry, 100 from the stage, 123. Ilgalissimo Fravo is second with 72. Basso uh, making good use of his 30 entry points because he only has 65. 35 from the stage and 30 from entry. He's third place. So 72 Frabo, 65 Basso. Agap 31 started with minus 20 points. Goga 30 started with 0 points. Ibra 8 points started with minus 10. Temporary KOM classification has El Comiano with 112, a whooping 112 points over Frabo 48, Agap 43, Ibra 39, Basso 28, and Goga's in the mud with 26. I'll be right back.
tacking a long way from home. There's a few riders jockeying for position at the front. Looks like a few riders at the back are beginning to stall.
As I am back and I see stage 2 already underway, although shortly, less than 150 kilometers, and we have 129.0 to go. Pablo has a sprinter for the intermediate sprint, and I think I'm still joined by Joe Whiteley. Joe, are you here?
I have it.
Quick question before things start heating up and as we go into the intermediate sprint. You're El Colombiano, you have 51 points lead over your main opponent at this point, Frabo, and 58 to Basso. 80, 92, I think, if I made my quick math correctly, to AGAP and so on. What's your move? What should be your move? Forget what will likely be his move, but what should be his move?
I would focus on this first KOM climb again, just to get a few more points, keep ticking over. I would then just try follow the second and third place, well, and fourth place from last stage.
And it's Goga taking 1-2 in the sprint. I think Frabo gets no, it's 1-2-3 actually. You'll see it now. 1-2-3 from Goga. Frabo.
You want what? What the fuck?
You understood the lobby you're in.
With this, Goga surpasses AGAP 37-31, still far behind the top three.
AGAP with the most pointless attack I've seen of the evening.
And as we wait for things to start brewing, I will quickly remind you of the past winners of the tournament and some recent podiums, because I don't have time to say all the podiums, obviously. Here we go. We have original winner in 2002 dedicated to Marco Pantani, some guy named Donan. Following year was Fresco, then Ciclopo in 2006, 7, 7, 8, and 8, 9. It was not challenged, it was not played. Then Campione won in 2009-10 edition, also still devoted to Pantani. Then Bubba won in 2011, 2012 was for KDU 87. 2012-13 to Nasdon, 2013-14. Same guy again, I have no idea who that is. It was not challenged for again in 2014-15. And then we had 15-16 was to Davi, Piero second, Norris bronze, then Davi, Alatere, Dennis. 18-19, the Contador edition, was to Daniel Fireboy, then Emir the 90th, second place, Davi third. 2019-20 edition was Davi, Aquarius, and Piero Chakra. 2020-21 edition dedicated to Pulidor was Dennis, Davi, and the biggest of all dogs getting bronze. 21-22 to dedicated to Fausto Cotti was Alaker, the winner, Aquarius second, Davi third, and last year Frabo, who is the defending champion, won it, then Swagson second, and Gaccio, shockingly third.
I seriously, Gaki.
Yes, you were there, Frabo. You should know better than me. I wasn't there. I mean, I probably was commentating. I don't remember, but I think I was. Sorry, I even missed what was going on, but I see El Commander is already at the front. Who does he have here now? I'm pretty sure he already said that he would focus on that first climb, didn't you, Joe? If you were El Colombiano, and then what?
And then I just sit back and watch my rivals from stage one.
But would you like to try a 1-2-3 on it? Definitely waste some domestics for it?
I get first, and then maybe another person within the top 5. Bearing in mind that it is a KOM, a HD, so there's quite a lot of points for the minor positions. And
let's keep in mind that his gap for the second place in KOM is 70 something points, 74 points, I think.
Yeah. So I'd focus on this climb just to again keep ticking over on those points, and then I'd forget about it.
Then back and focus on the stage, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because what he does on this first climb will probably guarantee him the KOM win, regardless of what happens in A, the rest of this stage, and B, the rest of the next
Oh,
stage.
the list of those left
And you know what
behind
that
goes on
means? He can
rising.
fully focus on the stage result while
Alright.
still having the KOM in the back.
And now tell us, and this is why we need someone as experienced as you, not only in the game, but in analysis, what you actually think will happen. What he
Riders
does.
are in a portion above 10%.
I mean, the last climb is a little bit disappointing, so it's hard to say, to be fair. It is
Jai
hard to say.
Hindley, sorry to interrupt you, but this is just in. Jai Hindley is in the front group.
And Pierre Lator as well.
And Pierre Lator is joining in, yes. Also immediately responding to Ibra. I think they're the only two leaders at the front. Joe, what do you think can come out of this? Two leaders already at the front so early.
I think they're just looking for maybe some KOM points, but mainly to just put riders in a good position. I think for Basso, he's clearly got his three best climbers at the front, so what I can only imagine is he's protecting the fourth best rider in the team behind, forcing everyone to have only three riders left over the climb, and then he can have an extra domestique.
He comes early though, so this might tie into what I said, that he might be more aggressive here.
Yeah, but I think if you there's the profile of the full stage, the descents are very good. They match the climbs.
Actually, yeah.
If you look at the first climb, the descent is quite good compared to it. If you look at the second climb, and then crucially the Cat 2. If you look at that Cat 2 climb in there, and then look at the descent after it, you can see that pretty much no matter what you do in the stage, you will be full bars before the last climb. That's
I've
why
just
I
been
think
informed that the stage is actually easier than I thought because Enea has won it before twice.
this stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
You didn't recover full bars in the past game. Explained Enea, who already won it twice, as I said. And now I think you do. So indeed, tying in with what you said, Joe, it might be a good move to attack early or to force.
Well, the thing is, green bar is going to be non-existent. It's a 150k stage where 20 of that is flat, and another about 70, 80 of that is downhill. You can pretty much pace no matter what you want, and you'll pretty much guarantee yourself to be full bars before the last climb.
And it's going to be massively a high-paced stage, given it's short, given the downhill and the profiles. As you said, there's a lot of downhill to recover. There's a lot of moves to be made here in a short amount of time. Would you agree, Joe?
Yeah. And I
And
think
it's
the way
made.
Basso's doing it is best. He's
Here we
forcing
have-
other people
Watch
to
out,
lose
a team leader is
domestiques.
falling
He's
behind.
gaining KOM points, and to be fair, he's not really going to lose much out on it with green bar.
Basso at cross and Pierre Latour is about
Zimbiano
to...
needs to start here, at least 4th and 5th. And the fact he hasn't sprinted for that is
So it's
Think
goes
he got-
downhill.
quite surprising.
Catch
He
their
got
breath.
7th and 8th, though.
Oh, 7 and 8. That's 6 points.
It's some, but he could have easily just upped the pace a little bit with one of the riders, and he could have got 3rd or 4th.
It was Basso, Goga, Basso, Ibra, and then Alcomiano 7 and 8, as you pointed out correctly. And right now we have Basso's leader, and is that a Goga rider with him?
Yeah.
Alright. Basso took 45 points in his KOM, so he's wait,
He's
how
second.
does wait.
I think
never
it's
mind.
combined. Is that inline?
No, I know that. That wasn't what I was saying. But as I said, he took 45 points in his KOM. 45 points.
It's why I said
70
that El Colombiano
yeah.
should have just fully sent it. Instead, he didn't go for the KO, and he's also let in probably the closest guy on the standings get a free ride. And this is why Basso is the most dangerous. Like, he's by himself, nobody else is pacing against him necessarily, and he can just do whatever he wants.
Just to put things in perspective, the gap before this KOM, so coming in from the last stage, was over 74 points, I think it was. Second place was Frabo, and now that gap has
There's an
reduced
attack in the group at the front.
To about 30.
45 points. 45 points.
Yeah.
So incredible. And Frabo is not fourth and not having scored here.
And Basso's doing the right thing here, because all three of those riders, no matter how fast he goes, will all recover.
Alcomiano needs to close this gap. He's one of the interested parties because if Basso keeps going
It's
pretty
game
much
over for A-Gap. And this is what happens. On a stage where it is very, very pro-aggressive and very, you know, it benefits you from being attacking, which is a first in PCM, I must admit. When you sleep the way A-Gap does, where his game style is very much just sit, wait, follow, sit, wait, follow, don't really relay. If you get caught out, it's game over. Because this stage doesn't benefit rats, and you'll see, and this is going to be a pretty early bet, but you'll probably see the better players will probably do better on this stage, mainly because they can actually use their skill. They don't have to rely on other people's competence.
1 minute 23 seconds from group to group, so both different same groups give or take now, and Goga is in A-Gap is indeed in the Razor's Edge. Might be game over for him
But
as
it's,
well.
crucially, it's the right response. It's the right response from Frabo, it's the right response from El Colombiano.
Colombiano, yes.
They're needing to pace, and they are pacing.
By the way, this stage was picked by El Colombiano himself, so this should be very interesting. El Colombiano, as I was saying, needs to close this, or else Basso risks surpassing him in the KOM stand.
And he wins the stage.
Indeed. And next one was the final stage was the final? It's 3, right?
Yeah, but I mean, he wins this stage if they don't pace him down.
Yes.
I know
The
it's
final
still
stage
okay to go,
by
but
Goga.
it's one of those stages where if you let someone go, you won't see him again.
Yep.
I would imagine Fabio and Dubé just waiting for the pace to slow up, and then he's going to try bridge through his other riders.
And as we speak, he is starting to move forward. He's going to do so, and El Colombiano should try and follow here.
Yeah, he should.
Not
like crazy follow.
No, yeah, but should try and take advantage.
This is the thing with PTM players. They're too busy thinking, Basso's going to have 4 riders, I need to keep Forrest there. You need to accept the fact that you've made a mistake. Own it,
correct.
Lose the extra domestique, but make sure you're at the front. It doesn't matter if you've got one less rider, as long as you're with the person you need to be with, you can rectify it. You can't rectify it.
The response was not bad while Basso was waiting for the 4th man, and
it's been a good response, but this is where Colombiano needs to attack, and he has to.
And the leader attacks as we speak. That's a great movement from the Colombian player.
It's the right thing to do. He needs to forget about his domestiques, and he just needs to cut his losses immediately, and he has cut.
Indeed, he does.
But now he needs to follow Basso again, because if Basso, this is where it's dangerous, because if someone attacks here now and they get a gap, it could be game over. Because Colombiano's just done a massive effort to close that gap. He won't be wanting to do that again, I would imagine.
And it is Poco de Dio for A-Gap as he wobbles in 2:20 minutes, and he is game over. As you said, even if he gets back to them, he will be pretty much dead. There is one Basso guy at the front, not sure which one. I'm gonna guess the rules. Is 75 miles. Thank you. Now. And Joe. And,
if this was a 200k stage, I would actually think A-Gap's doing a sensible thing.
But it is not, as you know, and it's already almost halfway done.
Because amongst all this chaos, he's been taking his own pace, and he'll just allow himself to come back. But I think with the type of race that we've got in our hands, I think he's just digging a hole. Luckily for him, though, he could arrive at that bottom of the climb with even 2.
Yes,
because it's such an easy prize. And that will save it.
I would say that for him, it would be good to actually close this before the climb is over, though.
Yeah, he has to, but there's still 10 to go.
Absolutely. So it's not the best of positions to be in right now, and Basso is making another move.
And
wait, I didn't get area. By the way, I'm not sure. By the way, this broadcast is sponsored by the Angelo Zomingan Trophy that we will have next PCM ETA competition. Please subscribe. It's a very fun concept. I love it. just have one rider. You're doing this kind of stuff with one rider. It's pretty much the famous mountain sprints that we love and enjoy. Yes, I know, and I was just wondering if I had, but I think I did. Because I really like the zombie concept. And El Colombiano cannot sleep here.
He can't. And it would be a shame if he did because he's played pretty well so far. He's going to lose a teammate in about 500 meters.
And this movement here for Basso response, this was very detrimental to A-Gap. That was less than a minute or close to a minute, and now he was to 2 and 140. He only has 3 riders, 2 teammates. Very detrimental to him. Might be all she wrote for him, as we said, and probably is, even if he gets back to the bunch.
I think he will come back. It's just at what cost?
Yes, at a big cost. El Colombiano cannot be here at the back because Basso will again strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah, I don't know what Colombia was doing. He has one goal, and that's to defend the KOM. He's already done the hardest part, and that's why winning one of the stages. Now he needs to defend the thing that he actually set out.
It is so frustrating to watch this at this point because it's...
Basso is going to be back on top of the KOM standings within 2 climbs.
Seriously, look. Oh, here's Eganissimo Pro started responding now. El Colombiano, but he's not going to make any time for them ranking points. And classic Goga tactic is.
They can't let Basso go here because the stage room will just evaporate.
Oh, but Goga got screwed.
His sense are too good.
Goga getting screwed and dropped. El Colombiano finally realizes that he must not count how many riders he has, he just needs to. But it is. Is it too little too late? Let's see if he still gets a 3rd place.
It is too little too late because everyone's going to be by themselves and they need to close this gap now. It doesn't matter how many teammates or lack of teams they have. If Basso goes alone with 2 riders when everyone else is by themselves and they look at each other, it's game over. They need to close this gap now.
Yes,
that goes to the people in E2, which are
and Basso desperately accelerating here with his leader.
Because he knows if they bridge to him, the advantage is gone. And they need to bridge.
Goga will be the first to catch it.
Fravo's in a good position. He needs to owe Goga a lot of money, I think, because
El Colombiano panics and legit attacks.
Basso's going to keep attacking, but the guys behind need to keep following.
Yeah, because Basso is going to have the energy to go forever, and he's going to attack a 2nd time, and the 3rd. And Frabo and Goga need to work together here. El Colombiano and Ibra need to work together here. And A-Gap needs to get wrecked here. I don't say this must, but it's what's going to happen to him, unfortunately, due to the situation in which he placed himself in. By being at the back of the peloton, thinking, if I get 1 ounce of energy that I save, I'll be at the top of the world. You will not if you get dropped by him.
I think if Goga and Frabo, and they have worked pretty well together on this descent, they need to hammer it on this climb. Otherwise, again, it's game over.
But my question to you is, even though they're working together, sending a bit of energy as opposed to going alone, obviously, but Basso has the teammate, so is this already a done deal for him that he wins the stage?
No, because if they work together, they are each other's teammate. So.
Indeed. And
as long as they work 50-50, that counteracts Basso having 1 extra car.
Ibra, I'm not going to say waiting for Vlasov, a bit forced too, because he was dropped, so to speak, might be detrimental to him, because he already lost quite some time. Basso is now alone, and these two need to work together if you want to see a stage fought for until the end. 32 seconds. They are indeed working well. They're not afraid.
They need to stay with each other, though. They can almost let Basso dangle out front, go into this descent together. They work 50-50, they close the gap, and they save more energy.
Indeed, because Basso is now alone. Basso
they can't attack each other.
Basso fully committed to this attack as he should, given the situation and the extra rider. But now it is still there's still time to close this for the other participants behind, which are Bravo and Dola. Basso is going to take another important KOM win. And he It's going to be Goga second, Frabo third, and El Colombiano is nowhere to be seen.
Tell you what, Ibra's not in a bad position here. It's not a great position, but it's okay because he has a teammate.
It is not great indeed, but let's see how the time gaps evolve. A gap has been destroyed and is like 5 minutes down. That's the dangers of trying to save energy, especially if you were not good at it. This is a really dangerous tactic, as we've seen the entire season happen to many others, probably with a little bit more of resume than A gap. 45 seconds, Joe, but nothing to panic. It's a bit downhill.
Well, it's not about panicking. Basso's going to recover fully anyway. These guys need to pace more than whatever they're pacing now.
And they need to be.
But too many people play defensively. They have someone with them who relays with them, so they see it as I recover more. But no, it shouldn't be a case of you recover more. It's a case of you can pace more while recovering the same as the person in front. There's no point recovering the same.
If you lose, if you open the gap to a point where it is then
exactly. Because at the end of the day, on a descent like this, Basso will start the last climb full bar. The other guys behind will start the climb also, full bar.
But the gap is starting to be dangerous.
Yeah. And it should be getting out of, but they should be pacing more than what they're pacing. Pretty defensive.
Stick with it, please. That's the most important part of the race currently. 49 seconds. They are still working together. Let's see. If you're El Colombiano, you know that you're not going to be even top 3 of the stage if all goes normally. What do you do now? You stick with Ibra as long as you can defensively.
Yeah, and I think Ibra has to attack, and he has to.
And he did.
It's a very good attack.
Yes.
And Ibra could be on a mission here for second place.
Yes, this is
because the two guys, I cannot understand what Frabo and Goga have been doing. They've been working together, but they haven't been doing what
but not at an appropriate pace. I think they were far more worried at recovering the bar, which they were going to do if they paced at a constant decent pace instead of closing the gap. And it's very dangerous now, and it seems like it's game over and Basel has the stage.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
and they could lose second place now because they found it out.
Has the teammate, has the momentum for the second place, and Colombiano is.
He just needs to keep going. He just needs to keep going.
And Goga goes with him. Frabo does not.
Frabo's going to get a teammate though soon.
But is it going to be worth it though? If it's going to be worth it with the gap that
he's going to be Goga with that teammate. I don't know about either.
Carapaz is in the mud.
He still has enough to beat either. He won't be. Nobody's going to be Basso now.
No,
they ruined the opportunity.
This might be the result we actually needed with a second stage winner to get this final open until the end. Let's see.
He's taking all the KM points. Colombiano's had an absolute stinker. And
this. And as much as Ibra has to use Vlasov until pretty much he's dead, if he wants to still have a chance to fight for that for the stage.
I think Ibra has to just bridge the Basso.
Yeah.
Even if he bridges the Basso and he has half the bars, look at the climb. It benefits massively being in the wheel, regardless of what rider it is, regardless of what bars you have.
Ibra and Goga are both here.
He just needs to sit on Basso now. If he goes past him, he's stupid.
He needs to wait. I think he'll have that.
Yeah, I don't know what Ibra's doing. I don't know how Ibra thinks he has better bars than Basso. Basso is literally just done that. He's going
to be a massacre for Ibra. He might have done, well, not might, he did the exact thing he shouldn't do. He should have just stayed with Basso.
And Basso's getting a free ride from Goga.
Yep, Goga is just pacing him in.
And he's going to get a free ride from Bravo. And for this next part, he's going to have loads of bars.
Tense moment.
Well, I mean, people probably think, what the fuck is he doing? But I think he's being sensible.
I think he's been managing the bar well.
No, he's seen that it's absolutely pan-flat gradient, so he's just allowed himself to drop off the back. I honestly think he's just testing something out here.
Well,
and there he goes, fast, yeah.
Yeah, there we go, yeah.
Be interested to see if it works. I can understand the logic behind it. Still wouldn't have done it myself, but
Trouble now with the extra teammate, and it might still be all she
5
wrote for him
kilometers to the
when
finish
Basso
line.
goes. And here he is, almost there. And even Ibra's gap is really dangerous right now.
I think Frabo just needs to sit on the wheel of Goga. Not Goga. Goga needs to sit on the wheel of Frabo, but no, I meant to say Goga needs to sit on the wheel of Frabo, but Frabo literally just attacked as soon as I said it.
Ibra is gonna die close to the beach, to be honest. Not in the beach per se. There we go. And
He needs
everyone
to
is
sit on the
gonna
wheel of
die.
Frabo, yeah. And he might be able to boost his result.
Let us see. And Basso is accelerating into them 33 seconds. Kind of steady-ish gap. Someone moves and it has to be Frabo second. And 2 kilometers to go. Grandissimo Frabo may be on his way to steal this stage. 1.2 kilometers. Frabo is advancing. Ibra
The
has
riders
lost
are going
stage.
through a
Ibra
very
has
tough
lost
portion
stage,
with
but
percentages
let's see if
above
he can squeeze
10%.
second place. Oh, Ibra's trying to catch Frabo, but it's too little too late. Frabo will, uh, oh, will win the stage, but Ibra is not going to be even top 3.
This
It's
win
gonna
is
be second
well
for Latour,
deserved. He displayed a
which is Basso,
tremendous
third for
tenacity.
Goga, fourth
The
for
race
Ibra.
is run, but the
El
poor
Comian was
souls
in the
bringing up
mud
the
in
rear
fifth place,
continue to
and they
cross the
got this
line.
out of
It's a bit of a
existence
night for the
in
morale.
sixth. Well, not sixth actually, but sixth
Yeah,
place.
I don't really know what Basso did there. I mean, well, I do know what he did, but I don't know why he did it.
A gap 0 points, does not score top 6, is 7th place. Basso was a bit too generous there with what he gave them when the climb started, would you agree?
I just don't think he needed to sit up. I know why he sat up on that little flat bit in the middle of the climb, about 8K, this bit here, about 8K to. I know why he did it, but when someone's willing to pace with 2 riders on that flat section, you just, you're not going to recover as much as you follow them, but you're following someone. Yeah, that relatively, yes, you're going to lose more bar, but compared to the time you'd lose by not following them,
It was a stage for him.
yeah, you know. And you
For
saw with the
me,
way he came back that
for
he
me,
clearly
Ibra is saying excuses. For sure.
No, he's not really. In stage 1, we saw Basso literally teleport as well, so.
Not having problem and playing with Wi-Fi and not with cable.
It is what it is, though. I think mistakes were made there, and you ended up having the good side of it because Basso also made his own mistake with how he stopped in the end set up on that flat part. But you are back in contention for the tournament, Bravo. What's your thoughts going into the final stage?
I think I have it, my opinion.
Well, we're
And
waiting for an updated
this is my
GC.
opinion.
It would be the first time since I have no idea when that someone does the back-to-back win. The last one was Davi in 15-16, uh, and then 17-18 as the 16-17 edition was not played. So Davi was the last one to do that. Then Daniel Fireball interrupted his streak and he was only third in 18-19. And then Davi won it again in 1920, followed by Dennis. And Davi was second, so big, big participations from Davi here. The big dog was third in that year. That was 2021. And then 21-22 was Ale Perre and Aquarius. Top two from Spain. French Davi, PCM remarkable player as well, third. And then last year, as we said earlier, Frabo got his first title. Blackson from PCM UK gave the Brits their second medal in this event, this time a silver one, upgrading from the Big Dog's performance. And Gotcha surprised the world somehow. I don't even remember how, and I was there commentating it, to get the bronze medal before he was massively banned for so many wrong things he's done before. Joe, thoughts on the stage and how things are, I guess, still a bit open with this.
Yeah, it was interesting stage 2. Yeah,
My
I think
my
Frabo
question,
definitely played very well in a pretty tense situation, I would imagine.
I was
All
gonna
the way.
say, if there was someone that was the ice coldest of them all and all of this, it ended up being Frabo because it actually worked out well for him, right?
Yeah, I mean, again though, Goga, Yeah, I think it just goes to show if you're in the right place and you kind of follow the right wheels, you don't really do too much, do you, to get a good result? You kind of feel bad for Ibra, although I think, to be fair,
But I think not staying with Basel was, as soon as he did that, we knew it wasn't going to end up well for him.
yeah. And also when Frabo attacked, I think Goga needed to follow as well.
Yeah,
I think he might have had similar bars to Frabo, in all honesty. But
He plays with maintain position.
yeah,
I
I was
know.
going to say
So
he
when
plays the maintain
if a
position,
pass
so as soon
attack,
as Frabo
he's back.
attacks, he drops the wheel. Yeah,
Yeah, if you're not going to play with effort cursor, you're not going to be. You, you can't expect to do the big results. I'm still waiting for a classification update. I think Emma is working on it, and is also setting up the lobby as we speak. So we wait for a bit to see how things are going. But we do know that Basel is now leading the KOM. I think, I'm not sure, but the gap was big, so El Colombiano might still have second place. With this win for Frabo, though, this might be 148. He might be the new leader, actually. Let's see. Oh, we do have the updated classification, and it is as follows. Grandissimo Frabo is leading with 172 points. 148 in second place is El Colombiano, still in the fight, let's be honest. 24 points only. 13 more, sorry, than Basel, third place, 135 points. Coco fourth, 88. Ibra fifth, 43. And Agap sixth in the mud with 31. I just want to say that for now, what we're seeing is the guys that enter with minus points. It might not make a difference for them, but if it does, even for to avoid last place, it's going to be ridiculous. I don't really like penalties. I don't really like bonuses. But it is what it is. In the KOM classification, El Colombiano is actually still leading 126 points, defended it, but only 13 points ahead of Basel, that has 113, so it's not a sure thing. Third place is Frabo with 64 points, and it's, I think, 50 35. I don't remember the others. 25 points maybe for the third. So Frabo is still securing some good points from the KOM. Uh, but as Frabo has 64, Ibra has 62, Koga has 53, and Agap is also in the mud here with 43 points. And when I say he's in the mud, I say this about anyone who is in last place, even me. Nothing personal against Agap, obviously. Joe, few
yeah.
KOMs, quite a few, 5 of them. An intermediate sprint before the major first climb. Um, Applying current KOM points, the final classification would be, oh, this is virtual. It would be El Colombiano winning determined with 198 points. Second place would be Frabo with 197. Third place would be Basel 170. Fourth would be Gogo 101. Fifth, Ibra 61. And Agap would have. How can Agap have 2 less points than the current classification, Emma? Ah, never mind, that's KOM. We'll have 10 more points. I'm drunk. Yes. Agap would have 41 in the last place. And this is virtual, so we're not including the obvious results from stage 3 that has 100 points to offer. Joe, as I was saying, 5 KOMs, 1 intermediate sprint, close fight between the top 3. What's the game here for each of them? El Colombiano first with 172. Sorry, Frabo first 172, El Colombiano second 148, and Basel third 135. What's the game plan?
I think El Colombiano needs to pray to any fictional, non-fictional god, and I think
like
he I think he just needs to hope that certain players again kind of play a bit stupid or they start focusing each other. He needs to kind of just get into one of them moves where he's by himself and he's just doing his own thing, getting KOMs, and yeah.
Would you say that the KOM has to be a big focus for a Colombian at this point?
I think it has to be because it's probably the best thing he does in just getting KOMs. So I feel like if he doesn't get a KOM, if he doesn't get the KOM, are there chances of him then winning without the KOM? I don't know. You understand what I mean? If it's
Yeah,
your best, if it's
but
your best
this
gameplay and you don't do it,
If
How
you
would you?
don't take advantage of it, yes, it
Yeah.
will be detrimental, which leads and ties into my next question. Basso also being third and being 48, where is this? 35, 45, 55, 65, 37 points behind the first place and 13 points behind the second. It's like of El Colombiano and Basso as if they pretty much have to fight for the QM at this point. This might benefit Frabo. That might have some leverage for the stage. Could you agree with this?
Greetings to
Yeah, I mean,
all.
I think Basso just
The
needs to do
profile of today's
something
course
similar to what he's
favors
been doing in the
climbers.
stage
The
1 and
others are going to
2.
have to make an early
He needs to
breakaway
obviously
and
get
build
enough
up a
KOM
good
points
lead
to
if they
win the
want to win.
KOM
However,
situation, and
it
then
has to be
just get,
said that their chances
you
of
know,
doing so are
a
slim, if
first would
not
guarantee him to win.
non-existent.
A second would be nice, depending obviously if Frabo's the one who wins in front of him. But yeah, I think he just needs to do something similar. I think Frabo obviously he's not in the KOM fight. If he can move up 1 or 2 positions for minor placements, he might as well do it. But I think for Frabo, it's the stage result that matters, and I think he knows that he'll probably beat El Colombiano just on skill, and he also knows that Basso not only needs to do a good stage result, he needs to win the KOM. So I think he just needs to focus Basso. Also, Amir, you're AFK.
Yes. Quick question while we wait for Amel. Daniel Miko asks
A
us here
rider
in the
just
booth
launched
who
an
is
attack.
our favorite to win the tournament after 2 stages. I'm going to start by
Look
you,
at
Joe.
Amir's rider.
Yes. It's pretty funny. I don't know what happened to him. Like, moments ago,
I'm
he was just
waiting for his
talking to
rider
me.
to attack.
Moments ago, he was just here talking to me, and he probably went AFK for some reason, and he didn't remember to put his. There we go. He's here. Um, So my question was to all of us, and I will start with Joe. As I was saying, Daniel Miko asks us who is our favorite to win after 2 stages. Joe,
Conta goes into the attack.
Frabo.
Emma, when you can, who is your favorite to win the tournament after 2 stages? Frabo, says Emma. Um, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Basso still has a good chance here, but I'm gonna have to agree. Frabo is the favorite to win at this point.
Who's the person in fourth? Is it Gogo?
It is. I have to go back because I posted the virtual. Here it is.
I think
Just
it's
for
Gogo.
myself. It is Goga with. Oh, it's not even this one. It's Goga with 88 points. So he's like
Yeah, so the podium's
77
pretty
behind.
much
Sorry.
guaranteed. The podium's guaranteed for those top 3 guys.
Yeah, he's 45 points
So it
behind.
has to be between Basso, Ferrer, and Colombiano, and they're all going to have to win it in different ways, and that's the beauty of it.
Um,
Colombiano, for me, has to win it by placing decently, but winning the KOM. Basso has to
indeed.
win it by getting a top 2 and winning the
And
KOM.
the KOM.
Frabo has to win it by probably just winning the stage or getting a second place.
But still, securing enough to at least be third in the KOM. He was very close. And Fabo can't
Yeah,
sleep on that as well.
yeah. I
So
agree.
priorities are different for all of them when there's only 2 tools at this point, which are obviously KOM and stage, but still different ways to play for it. And of course, an intermediate split. But at this point, these 5 points might make it or break it if it continues this course.
They could make somewhat of a difference, yeah. But I also think, yes, the standings are close, but if the standings are close, that would normally suggest that the overall results are going to be decided by purely on placement on the final stage. If you go on.
Poll on the stream, and if you guys are watching on Twitch, vote now. Who will win the tournament? The options are obviously the top 3 that have a mighty lead on the others: Basso, uh, Daniel, Nico, and Fravo. Okay. Why do you have Daniel Miko as an option instead of El Colombiano?
Because Colombiano needs to win the
Because
KO.
look how is El Colombiano now, for example.
So, Basso, El Colombiano, or Fravo? Vote now. Let's pretend that Daniel Miko in there is El Colombiano and then is probably drunk. So, there's that. El Colombiano does a team attack. No, he's dropped. Sorry, I was not looking at the stream. Okay, he's dropped. I don't know how or what happened. Did you guys see how it happened? Guys?
What'd you say?
Did you guys see what happened with El Colombiano? Because I just checked
I
him
did.
back on the stream. he's dropped,
I would
He's
imagine he
going to
just kind
take
of
them on by
stopped.
himself.
as usual with some of these players. It's an interesting dichotomy for someone like El Colombiano. He's capable of trying the most risky of attacks, and at the same time, he's capable of falling asleep and having moments like this.
I think they're both mutually the same quote, though, or same statement.
How
He's
so?
bad enough to make a stupid mistake like this, absolutely, but he's also bad enough to do a random attack and
That works.
people not to consider him a threat. I mean, what the fuck's he doing?
I have no idea, but he
You're
is.
telling me this guy is currently leading the Scalatore.
Sorry, I lost you there, Joe. You were telling me what?
I said you're currently trying to tell me that this guy is leading Scalatore.
Yes.
I think this 30
Well,
second,
no. He
this,
was. Now it's trouble.
this 30-second segment sums up this game. You can be so bad at the game, but just get away with it. And you can get so many good results by being the most dumb-brained person going. Don't get me wrong, it could be the most innocent mistake. I didn't see it. He might have just fallen asleep. I don't know why you'd be falling asleep, but he did. Maybe. I don't know. But it blows my mind that this game allows people this bad at the game to get good
It's in
results.
such percentages that the strongest can create some
It
gaps.
is actually very troubling because let's keep in mind that we might be watching far worse than this at the World Championships, which leads me to a question I was wanting to make to you since probably the beginning of the broadcast, but it fell behind with everything that was happening. After we saw the last stage, especially after there, but it was already on the parkour, so after watching the unfold of the last stage, should we promote more aggressive stages like this in not only the season but the World Championships as well?
I don't think we need to promote more aggressive races. I think there just needs to be a change of approach, and also uh, the whole tradition of like a world championship is like, oh,
No,
it should
no,
be decided on
Look out,
massive
he's breaking
stage of
away.
200 kilometers,
no,
massive
no, no.
ground.
Should we see like more stages like the last one though? Short.
No, but
Uh,
this is the point I'm trying to make. The tradition normally is in the world championships, isn't it? That
yeah.
everything should be decided on a massive mountain stage. You know, these mythical climbs, but really the best way to expose bad players is not on mountain stages where they get the most benefit of draft. Is actually on stages where they need to use their brain. You
Such
understand what I
as
mean?
classics.
If the game is going to allow them to win by being bad, then you can't pick a stage that's going to let them do that. You've got to pick a stage that exposes them for being tactically bad. And for me, that can only be done with a good DB. Okay, a decent stage, but a DB that allows multiple people to win multiple things.
We agree there, but then I would have to ask you, what would you think would be the perfect type of stages to expose this gameplay?
But things that are not just a case of sitting in two sets of three-man trains. You sit on the best player's wheel. You just follow it
Sorry,
along, and
Carapaz
then you.
is attacking. Carapaz is attacking as we speak. Trying to join the front group. 1 minute, give or take, in between both groups right now.
The Entente in the escape group is far from
This is
cordial.
why
There
inline
are
for
a couple of
me
riders
should
who want
always
to do
be
it alone.
considered the best and most prestigious competition
Look, uh, it,
because it requires
it
the
is
most
actually, it
thinking
is.
power. It requires the most thinking power. In tour, you can do a very good result, as we've seen with El Colombiano, just ratting, or Goga, just ratting.
But I
Goga
was
has
gonna
literally sit the
say,
whole stage and maintained position, and he's currently third.
let me just add something to that, Joe, because you make a good point, and I agree with most of it. Let's be honest. Definitely needs to be a DD change, even an approach to some of the stage. I wouldn't say that can be forgotten as well. It's important. See what stages you put. I'm going to say that while I agree with what you say, because yes, you can indeed win something at tour and be uh, probably not the most deserving
The
at it,
riders
but you
were
can
not
also do
giving
that
it
on
their all and
classics.
sharing the bait.
What's his name is the proof of that. I don't know his name even at this point. What's his
I
name
mean, that
again?
was after three rees, though.
Yeah,
So
but even so, it happened.
that's an exception. Yeah, but
ASG. That's it.
I think classics in itself is a mixed bag. They are in real life.
There's an
And this is
attack in
why
the
they're
group at the
regarded the
front.
worst road
No,
event.
yes, but my point is, any type of parkour can have that happen. Maybe mountain a bit more. Well, sprints more, even some classics more, even. The thing is, I do quite enjoy mountain stages. That has nothing to do with the gameplay itself, but the nature of them. I really love the tour concept in real life and climbing. But the point is, there are a lot of situations, regardless of if you're playing a classic, different kind of stage, a cobbled stage, a flat stage, a hill stage, where these things can still happen though. So, how important is it to optimize a DB before the World Championships and start testing it now?
I mean, I alluded to it in quite a few different streams and obviously like channels and stuff, and I
Yeah,
basically said that the skill gap right now between a top 25 player and a top 5 player is so slim that even if you play the ultimate game where you're playing at maximum like
Acceleration
ability,
by Uran.
the
actually,
difference is just too small. And so what I'm trying to think is I completely agree with you. No matter what stage you do, no matter what DB you do, no matter what players you put in a
no, no,
lobby,
no. I wouldn't say no matter what you beat, these things can be optimized. I think what all types of stages will have always chances for someone, uh, for a terrible player to somehow manage to take advantage
but
of
this
the.
is my point though. There will always be this
Yeah, yeah,
slightly
absolutely.
like strange mechanism that happens during a stage which no one can explain. Nothing can be blamed. It's just that's just how it happened. But my
It
point
is also the
is,
nature of cycling, to be honest.
just because we
Sometimes.
can't get an ultimately perfected gameplay doesn't mean we can't try to at least
No,
improve it.
yeah, I do agree with that part. I was just saying it isn't necessarily just mountain. Maybe it can happen a bit more in some. I wouldn't even say in all mountain stages for sure. Some will
Looks
actually
like a few
require
riders at the
a
back are
lot of
beginning to
skill.
stall.
Yeah, but this is my example. Instead of having the classical tour final format where it's just 4 mountain stages or a medium mountain and then 3 mountains, why not mix it up? Why not test people's sprinting ability, opening sprints they got, test people's I wouldn't say time trial ability. It's just obviously we don't
No,
like doing
please
that.
no,
Yeah,
because it's just ridiculous in
but
this game
but
right now.
but I mean that in a round one, it's very good to eliminate noobs straight away.
Actually, at this
Something
point,
like
if I remember correctly, we did have a little bit of variety in our World Championships with them. Yeah.
it's like just because it's a final doesn't mean more equals better, and especially in this particular. I'm not on about previous years because it's irrelevant. We can only talk about this year because the gameplay's only been like this for this year. And my opinion is, just because you have more mountains doesn't bring better
Riders,
and more
the
smooth
percentages
gameplay.
are very high.
And I think
Latour goes. Sorry
the
to interrupt
best,
you. Latour joins the front group,
the best
and
way to get the best players winning is to have variety, and that needs to be flat stages, hill stages. Now that punctures are turned off, you need to include cobble stages, and you need to include gravel stages and tours um, to just to make people think a bit different. I mean, we saw in the last stage people were attacking from kilometer zero. They had to think differently. And people at A gap, where they only rat, they couldn't think quick enough and they dropped. And he lost 5 minutes.
have to
And he didn't
say,
even score points.
yeah, I have to say though, just to finish the subject, as you were saying that the current skill gap between top five and top 25, it's really short. I'm gonna risk taking a step further and say that right now, this gameplay, how it is with these DBs, because that could change a lot. Uh, it actually favors those rather than the pecking order
Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah.
much more than just reducing the skill gap. It actually boosts their
And
performances for so
don't
many
get me
reasons.
wrong.
Talk about it.
When I say skill gap, I don't mean the top 25 players are operating at a 98% skill gap and the top 5 are operating at 99. Those are just generic, figures.
Yeah, numbers. Yeah,
The skill gap that I'm talking about is the one the game provides. What I'm saying is, you can go into a lobby, you can do nothing, put your eyes on auto. That's your skill gap, and that starting skill gap, basically what Goga does. Goga's pretty much is like AI. If he can compete to this level on AI, like, what are you meant to do? You can't do anything, can you? As we
not
see
at all.
Basso getting blocked.
As we see Basso getting
Attack
blocked,
by
it's gonna be
Carlos
Goga taking
Rodriguez.
the
The
one. I don't
riders
know
must
if
be
two,
careful.
and El
This
Colombiano
downhill
either
is known
two
to be
or
very
three.
dangerous.
Right now,
Colombiano's done quite well so far to score. He's pretty
sorry,
much matched Basso so far this
who?
stage in the
Sorry.
KOMs. El Colombiano.
Yes, he was still leading it after two stages, so this is good for him. trying to keep that lead. Good result in the HC. Trying
And this
to
Basso's going to hammer it now because Frabo's behind, I would imagine. But he has got
Yep.
Colombiano with him, so
Yeah,
maybe
I
not.
think only I don't know if Thomas he is. He only has El Colombiano and Agap with him. Agap doesn't count for the victory mats, although he might count if he interferes. But
I
that's
think Basso needs to attack on this a little bit here.
let's see.
Well, he doesn't need to, but I think if he was going to attack, he'd have to do it now.
Frabo's here,
Yeah, I think they're just going to settle that Agap takes
and
the
Agap
initiative.
is going to go
Things
3
are
riders
heating up
only
in front.
already compared
I
to
think this
Basso
is
and
actually
Frabo's
good for
4.
Frabo, though. I don't think Frabo necessarily needed to respond, but Frabo, being
Jorgensen
Frabo,
goes
does
onto
his
the attack.
usual responsive, let's attack with domestics to a guy committing his
And
full
he
force
doesn't
back
need to
into
work
that fight.
in any group.
Yep, pretty much.
Which, don't get me wrong,
I
it's
mean, look at
Watch
Goga.
out.
Look,
A team
like,
leader is falling
please
behind.
explain to me this.
I
Explain
have
to
no
me
idea.
this.
I have no idea. I wish I could. I have no idea. How did he even lose all his riders, for fuck's sake?
And why is he attacking in this part of the stage when there's
No,
literally a
yes,
fight about a
no,
kilometer later?
yes, but primarily before that, what the fuck even happened to the rest of his riders?
Can't explain.
Oh, really?
Well,
Quickly
I
give
can't
me the
explain.
link,
I've
and
just explained for the past half an hour, to be fair, in the conversation I've been having. But
yeah, no, I mean, it's easy to get lost while we are talking about important things.
the
This
game gives a platform for bad players to perform well.
Yeah, and that's the point that we need to address before the World Championship. I think it's important, and I think here is a good example of a prestigious tournament that has a surprisingly mixed set of players, some of which probably shouldn't be near a final,
We're into the
so
second half of the
Susan at
race.
least learned
The
a bit
riders are going
more,
to be more and
and
more on their
others that
guard.
could and probably should be here, even from those that played. It's messy overall.
You can't blame the stages. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying in general. You can't blame the stages. You can't blame the DB. The stages are fine. The DB also pretty fine. So what's allowing these such noob players? And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all here, but with the gameplay we've watched, I think we can pretty much confidently say they are pretty noobish. Um, like what is allowing them to compete with someone who's literally playing very very good PCM? And I'll tell you what it is: the game.
Yeah, but that's what I'm wondering. If a change in EB, even a better picking of some stages, can counteract the way the game works.
Yeah,
Uh, quickly, we have. I don't think he's any longer alive. Never
no,
mind
it
then.
isn't.
Okay, we move on. And we are now trying to understand Basso is with his 4 following. Wait, Trabo is already with his leader at the front. Did I miss that?
Yeah, everyone's with three: Colombiano, Agap, and Basso. Sorry,
And
Frabo.
and
Goga's there,
Goga
and Basso's got the extra guy, but he's a minute behind. It's a
and
situation
Agap
we've become
keeps
used to.
Attack
dropping
by
his own riders
Geraint
to do these attacks
Thomas.
that I don't really know what he's aiming for here. To be
I
honest.
think he's just going all
The
out at this
riders are
point.
going through a very tough portion
He's
with
gone from one
percentages
extreme to the
above
other, and it's
10%.
quite often the case with bad players. I'm guessing Ibra didn't take to the start line in this stage as well. I noticed.
Yeah, I don't know, Emil. We've been wondering the same. We didn't see it. We missed it. But how the hell? Because it's been a while that Goga has been isolated. How
He's
the
been
fuck?
isolated pretty much from the
Attack by
about 2 kilometers from the
Geraint Thomas.
top of that last climb.
Yeah, I
A
have
long, long time.
no
The
idea
riders will
what he
take full
He'll
did.
be
advantage of
alone
the
for about
incline to get some
150k.
oxygen into their
He
lungs,
didn't
but
get
they must
decent KO
remember to
out
keep
points,
their
if
shape.
any. He didn't get anything. The only thing he has is his leader up there, but that's all she wrote. And Basso is currently dropped, I guess. The only one.
Yeah, it's the usual situation you get with someone like Basso. He's a minute behind, but he's got the extra teammate, and that's kind of like the I don't know what you'd call it. It's not a drawback, is it? What do you call it? Like when something's on the other hand. I can't
Uh,
remember.
it's a good question, actually. I
Like,
can't remember
it's like
either.
the counterbalance. I don't know what the word is for it. I've forgotten.
I know
But
what you mean, though. Yes,
so
it's
it's like
it's the
like
reverse side, so to speak.
like the face off, the comparison. I don't know what you'd call it. But yeah. So yes, he's a minute behind, but he's got the team at extra, and he's
It's
immediately trying to attack
There's
Frabo,
a
which
Yes,
rider
means
it's
trying to
the
break
other
away
he,
side
from the
of the
bunch.
coin at this point. And El Colombiano, it's a short gap though. It's short lived. So
look at the two people behind though. That's all that's important. The two people behind with the most riders are the two closest rivals to El Colombiano. And at the moment, Frabo's getting a bit of an easy lead. Where's Frabo's third rider?
Yeah, I don't.
Is he in A1?
No, yeah, it may be in A1, not in
Because
B1.
this could be crucial. And I think
Yeah, yes,
Frabo,
yes,
I think
yes.
Frabo could be losing this.
Alone?
He is in A1.
I think Frabo could be losing this if he's not careful.
Yeah,
I think Basso
42.
just needs to remain calm. Basso just needs to remain calm now.
Why is Goga carrying Basso though, and this group in general?
Because he's disconnected and the mayor's not paused.
Pause, Amira, pause, please. We have AI affecting the race.
Well, we've had AI affecting the race the whole time, but
Yes, but now it's a bit more obvious and unavoidable, I guess. Call it unavoidable, for lack of a better term. And as we wait for Goga to come back to existence, just before his rider gets squashed by everyone into out of existence again. Sorry. Uh, Interesting situation here. Frabo already down 2 helpers on Basso, and El Colombiano has 3. Goga is back. Okay. Joe, are things looking good for Basso? Very good.
yeah, but he can't panic. He's got the extra riders. He's got double the amount from Frabo. Don't know why Frabo's pacing. So he just needs to bide his time now. He needs to forget about Colombiano to an
And
extent.
if you are El Colombiano right now, how beneficial is that position? Because it is a big gap, as you see.
It's a big gap. It just depends.
It's not big. I mean, as big as it could be.
No, it just depends what cars are like. I mean, I don't know why Frabo's pacing. I honestly don't know.
Frabo just needs to stick with Basso, period. I don't know what he's doing, to be honest. So confusing. He's the one closing it. I mean,
It's
I
like
know he wants
Basso's
to
only
win.
about 20 points behind Frabo anyway, so
I know he wants to win, but he's pretty much committing suicide here. Harakiri.
This is the last third of the race.
I
The
would
team
imagine
leaders
them
have their
having an
minds fixed on
agreement
today's
where
goal.
Frabo shares the pacemaking and then Basso kind of carries him a little bit to the front group on the pros.
To be honest, and I always am, sometimes in my detriment, I wouldn't do an agreement with any of these guys, even if my life was on the line.
I mean, I agree, but if there's a common,
I still wouldn't do it.
thing to work for, I guess you have to.
Because I cannot trust any of them to fulfill their part later on. They will find a way to technically fulfill it, but then screw you anyway, you know. And you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what Frabo's been doing, but let's see if he can keep up with Basso.
I really don't know what he's doing.
He just needs to keep up with Basso here.
He paced for Basso, and then when Basso goes to pace, he dropped. I don't know.
But let us make things clear, though. If El Colombiano manages to actually win this stage, this might be game over for both of them.
I mean,
The riders are in a portion above 10%.
I mean, we might have to add El Colombiano as a winner of a prestigious trophy, and that's nothing personal against
I
El
think that
Colombiano.
becomes. I think that
And the
really
prestige
does.
dies.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say El Colombiano is a great guy. Don't get me wrong; he's a good person. I will be the first to say this.
What am I seeing?
But he's a terrible player.
Basso's finished the climb with 3, just like you'd expect, but Frabo, he's gonna be lucky to even bridge to Basso with his captain, let alone a teammate.
What
This
the fuck
downhill
happened to his
will allow the
teammates?
riders to
Already
recover
dead?
from their
He
earlier
pieced the pace
efforts.
with him when he didn't need to.
Oh, right. We were back on that discussion for no absolute fucking logical fucking reason. Uh, if El Colombiano wins the KOM, which is looking mighty good if he can pass at the front at least of this. I don't know, he already passed quite ahead of a few climbs, but there's still an HC to go. He only needs to be second, even third in the stage to secure the tournament. So
I
let's see.
think Colombiano is doing the best thing here, and it's like what I said. The only thing that
That's what we
matters are
talked about.
the people who are behind him, and that's Frabo and
El
Basso.
Colombiano, Emir, quickly zoom there, please. El Colombiano with 2.
Agap's going to work with him, I would imagine, to an extent. I don't think
He
he's going to work with
should.
him.
I don't see it happening though because it's Agap.
But even if he just sits in the wheel of the guy pacing, it's good enough.
My question though
This is where Frabo's going to be fucked.
yeah, but my question is Basso attacking too much? I mean, we know he has a chance to drop Frabo here, but is he attacking too much at this point to
No,
try
he's
and make
not.
that
He's not.
happen?
He's not.
All right.
Because he should know that he has the measure on Colombiano, and therefore the only other person that's going to stop him is Frabo, and Frabo's down to one rider, so
And
you
Frabo
can
is
almost
in
remove
trouble.
Frabo. This win, I think it's between Colombiano and Basso.
And it is indeed. Frabo, I don't know why Frabo was spacing in places he had no business spacing. And we know his helper is not gonna.
Frabo literally had one job this stage, was to score a minuscule amount of KOM just to get him into third, and just to watch Basso, or
Yep.
at least cooperate with Basso. Colombiano's going to be down to one rider here, by the way. So I
Yeah,
think you can almost guarantee that the win is going to go to Basso, but it could come down to KOM points.
it could indeed, but depending that. Let me quickly look at the classification that we had.
And A-Gap's in a very good position here because he's being carried pretty much the whole stage. So A-Gap could get involved in a fight he's not within, and, well, very much, he could affect it. El Colombiano is
This
complaining
climb
to
features
A-Gap that
some
he's being
dreadful
ratted.
percentages.
Now he knows how every other
It
single person
feels, yes,
Yep.
it is poetic justice. Emea, clarify this as quickly as possible when I don't. If Basso wins without Colombiano second, no. Basso wins, he wins. Please, if he wins the stage, is it a guaranteed win? Is the KOM because it's only 13 points? So if Basso wins, he wins. Period. I think.
The question I'm asking is, if Basso wins and Colombiano is second, or if A-Gap wins, basically if there's one position between Colombiano and Basso, but Colombiano wins the KOM and Basso comes second, what happens? That's basically what I'm asking. So
Yeah,
if
I
we
think
are,
you're right, and I think whoever wins wins. Period. If there's a
yeah,
position
but I
difference,
don't think any of them are going to win this thing. I think A-Gap's going to win the stage, which is why I'm asking what happens
if
if Basso
A Gap
comes second?
wins, I'm gonna tell you
What
right
happens if
now,
Basso comes second and Colombiano comes third? Because that's honestly what I think is going to happen.
it will come down to the KOM because there's only 13 points difference.
And then in that case, Colombiano would win because he
Um,
has the KOM, doesn't he, Colombiano?
it's 70-50, 20 points. Yes, probably does.
Because I think A-Gap's going to win the stage, unless he's done an absolutely tremendous rally, which is well within his capabilities.
Frabo, even with an A Gap win, Frabo might be legit screwed because of precisely the KOM.
So A-Gap's finally coming through to the front once he loses his teammate.
So,
This could spell bad news for both Frabo and Basso.
by the way, a more concrete response to your valid and important question, Joe. If A Gap wins, Basso is second, and El Colombiano wins. And El Colombiano is third because he already has the KOM. El Colombiano wins by 7 points on Basso.
Yeah, and this is the situation I think is going to happen. The only thing that's going to save Basso here is if Frabo can actually beat Colombiano to third. Because I don't think Frabo's going to win the stage.
Which,
Sorry, I don't
due
think
to
Basso's going to
Basso doing everything in his power to drop him, might not happen.
win. Yeah.
So
I don't think
it's-
he's dropping him to drop him. I think he's dropping him purely because Frabo's going too slow.
And A-Gap attacks El Colombiano as expected. He's in a prime position here to win the stage. And El Colombiano, it's starting to look a bit grim for El Colombiano.
Well, El Colombiano can allow A-Gap to win. It's actually better for A-Gap to win this
It's
stage.
better for El Colombiano if A-Gap wins and he just focuses on being top 3, period. He doesn't need to follow A-Gap. He
Which is
doesn't
what I
even
think
need
is
to
going to
focus
happen.
Basso. He just needs to get the third place, period.
I think Basso will reach Colombiano by the top of the climb.
Watch out! A
At
team
that
leader is
point,
falling
then,
behind.
all El Colombiano
The
needs to
riders
do
are
is
going
sit
through
on
a very
Basso's
tough
wheel.
portion
El
with
Colombiano
percentages
only
above
needs to make
10%.
sure Frabo doesn't pass him on the stage.
He just needs to make sure he
period.
doesn't last.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought? And that's if A-Gap wins, which I think
It's
he
still
should
too
win.
soon. It's still too soon, but it isn't looking bad. I mean, especially if he was good at rallying, which he is.
Well, it's going to be Basso alone versus A-Gap alone.
This
Neither of
is
them are
not.
going to get any help. So realistically, if they do the same thing on the descent and the climb, it should be
El
A-Gap
Colombiano.
winning by 30 seconds.
And El Colombiano might secure third here.
He just needs to focus on Frabo, and Frabo is a minute and 40 behind.
Yeah, Frabo is done by his own. I don't know what he was thinking about.
So I think we have the podium here for the stage, at least. I think Agap's going to win. It should be expected. Basso is going to probably come second, and Colombiano's going to come third. And this pretty much solidifies.
Joe. Quick update, because I may actually know all the extra saw it. Basso was with an animation at the top. El Colombiano was not.
Yeah,
So
I know.
El
And that's
Colombiano
why
might have. I didn't know
bridge.
this because I have to be looking at two screens at the same time.
Yeah.
So El Colombiano, if he sticks with Basso, he might still even get the second on this stage.
El Colombiano should not relay whatsoever.
He should not relay at all. If you're going to rat, this is the time for it because it benefits you directly.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't have said it any better. And do you know what's funny? El Colombiano rats pretty much every single point of a stage. I can guarantee you the only time he needs to actually rat for good, he won't rat. He won't rat. I think he's going to relay.
He said that, so he's. I don't think he's going to relay. I mean,
Well, that's because he is dead.
He doesn't need. Yeah, but he doesn't need to relay. He just needs to finish ahead of Frabo. I don't even
Which is going to happen unless he just plays the stage. He's at 2 minutes from Frabo. But not only does he need to beat Frabo, he needs to let Agap win. Agap needs to win. Because if Agap doesn't win, then it changes things.
Yes, it changes things immensely. So he needs to not work. He needs to let Agap go. He needs to give the gap.
Because if Agap wins, he just needs to avoid coming last. If Agap doesn't win, then he needs to beat Frabo.
Exactly. And if Agap is going to be caught, then it should be Basso reversed so that El Colombiano can counter him later and beat him. And El Colombiano, realizing this, is actually on the wheel of the Slovakian. 124, is it enough, Joe?
Well, it's not a case of whether it's enough, it's a case of whether Colombiano is stupid, and he is stupid because he's relaying.
Well, he's not. He needs to make sure Frabo doesn't re-enter, because if Frabo re-enters and steals the third place, El Colombiano...
It doesn't matter about Frabo re-entering, because even if Frabo re-enters, he's had to make up 2 minutes.
That is true.
So it doesn't matter if he re-enters, because he's not going to beat them anyway.
Well,
unless they're stupid.
Completely stop on the road, I wouldn't put it past it.
I can't believe what I'm seeing though. Colombiano is actually taking some small relays with Basso. He literally has the easiest situation to win Scalatore, and I think he's going to bottle it. And he's been dropped. Oh, it's painful. All he had to do was just stay with Basso.
And Frabo isn't even that far off now. This is painful to watch. Basso, not because Basso's going to win, which he might, but because El Colombiano had everything to win this tournament and couldn't do the most basic stuff. He needs to pray to the Lord that Frabo overcooks himself trying to catch him. Joe, is this the epitome of everything we have been saying tonight?
I think it's just the epitome of this game so far.
As well. Frabo is coming back, and this is exactly what I said. No, in theory, Frabo shouldn't win, but if they stopped on the fucking road, he could actually beat El Colombiano because Frabo is a better skilled player who had no business beating him, to be honest, after how the stage went. And there he goes. Frabo is going to do what he needs to do, latch on El Colombiano's wheel, as his life depended on it.
Colombiano's done the right thing though, getting back to Basso, but Colombiano needs to ignore Agap. He needs to do everything in his power to make Agap win. I think he has enough in the tank to beat Frabo, and he's let Basso go, but now he's in a dangerous position now where he has to beat Frabo.
Yeah, because Agap, and he needs to pray to the Lord that Basso doesn't catch Agap and win. It's out of his control. He just now needs to focus on beating Frabo because he cannot control the outcome of the race at this point. He had his chance, he dropped it. Joe, is prime position here for Basso win?
I mean, for Basso, he's done the first thing by dropping Colombiano, but now he needs to do the second thing and beat Agap because... And Frabo's dead. So that's one thing. That's one of the checklists done for Colombiano. The second checklist is out of his control. To be fair, it was in his control until he made it out of his control, and that is for Agap to beat Basso. If Agap beats Basso, Colombiano wins. If Basso beats Agap, then Colombiano loses, and I think Basso might win.
Yeah, it's looking good for Basso because he's going like a train accelerating into the Ukrainian player with 1.3 to go. It's going to be the final sprint, and it's not looking good for a gap because the gap was closed. The gap was closed. Basso's on his wheel. Basso's preparing to win Scalatore. Oh, but a gap still has the energy. Finally,
And
as it's
go back to Colombiano.
a
Go back to
is going
Colombiano.
to win the safest.
Colombiano is going to win Scalatore, and I
Congratulations!
don't
He showed
believe what I'm
determination
seeing.
to add this win
Unbelievable.
to his
I
prize
cannot
list.
stress out how shocking this is, but El Colombiano, even dead as he is now, is the Trofeo de Scalatore winner. This, ladies and gentlemen, is how bad this game is and how we need to adapt to it better with better non-shitty BBs. Again, I cannot stress out how this isn't an implication of the person that El Colombiano is. I've dealt with him many times. He's a great guy. He's just a terrible player. I call it as I see it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, let's not forget that this guy who wins Scalatore dropped with all 6 riders for the
Just
first
the beginning of the
30
stage.
kilometers of this stage, just
Yeah,
out of the blue.
yeah.
Don't get me
We're
wrong,
waiting for the
it can
tail enders
happen
who
to all of
continue
us.
to
But in a
arrive.
final like this, where you
I'm
need
gonna
to pay
guess Seaver
attention,
Rage quit and race the final stage.
I don't think he could make it. I don't think because
Oh,
he said at the start of the
oh.
evening that if they don't finish quickly the stage,
Well,
he'll have to go.
I love Reaper, but I don't. If he was in doubt to finish, he probably should have. Someone else out there with a second reserve, not me. Someone else that they have played. I don't remember who. Uh, even though, let's get to the important stuff. Frabo bottles it again in the final stage, fourth place. Uh, Carlos Rodriguez from AGAP is fifth, and Goga, who obviously only had one rider since the bottom of that first HC, uh, is sixth place and is in the mud, where he pretty much deserves it for losing all his riders at the beginning of the race. What the fuck of final is this, Emea? Well, I'm going to answer to you, Emea. If you and Rossi had listened to me when I spoke about this TV, I think it could have been a bit better. At least I'm not going to say it fixes all problems because this game sucks in the way that energy is treated, but it could have been different at least. However,
Everything that this man has just said, I agree.
but it is what it is, and it is what we have, and I cannot uncall it because it is the reality we have here. It is nothing personal. Rossi is a great guy. You are a great guy in there as well. Uh, I'm not saying you guys did something out of malice. Of course not. You tried what you thought was best, but I think we have now evidence that it is clearly not. However, we do have to congratulate, ladies and gentlemen, El Colombiano, the rightful winner of Trofeo dello Scalatore. I think at some point we were hearing the beat at least for reading for him. We all like to see an underdog story become a success. El Colombiano, despite not being the most technically ventured and gifted player, did indeed play at least to the best of his abilities to focus on his positive aspects like the KOM winning. Ended up not making the worst decisions when it came to decisions that would affect particularly stages 1 and 3. He is, at the end of the day, the rightful winner. Many congratulations to him. This is, however, how we end the prestigious Trofeo dello Scalatore because this is indeed the final edition. So I guess that is food for thought. With this in mind, you might want to come back one more year for a better swan song. We will soon be listening to all of our participants. We are calculating the points to confirm what we already believe is El Comiano winning, Basso second, Rabo maybe third. I think he had a good enough gap on a gap. Let's see. I'm calling everyone to come to the stream to talk with us, guys. All the participants, if you're listening in, I'm gonna ping you guys. Let me see. A was that Joe leaving some? Oh no, that was a mail stuff in the stream, right? Joe, you still here? Quick comment on this.
Yeah,
The thoughts come.
yeah. I mean, look,
Yeah.
I think the comments made during the stream give justice to the
When it seemed like they
unjustifiable
weren't
events
gonna
we
be
have
as
just seen.
relevant, right?
Pardon?
It seemed they might be just us uh, doing some kind of chanting when they actually come back to prove our point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think there needs to, and again, this is with no disrespect to El Colombian. He played his own way. He ended up winning. There's nothing he can do. He won. He won the competition. That's all he could
Fair
have
and
done. He
square.
couldn't have done anything better. He won the competition, fair and square. Well, whether you want to say fair and square, I will say it's fair and square because again,
No, it was fair and square. And I
but
think he
I
actually played
think
to
this
the best of
proves.
his.
I think this proves that not only does there need to be kind of like a little think about the DB, a little think about the stages, but I think also the way in which a competition works, such as the Champions League and World Championships, I think the whole concept needs to change, and I think it needs to change
I
with
agree.
regards to how the game plays and how people are playing it. Because at the moment, not only is it a very boring game to watch and to play, it's also not a very rewarding one if you actually want to play with a brain. I'll say that again many times in the future, but I think that's enough for me tonight.
Uh, Thank you, Joe. Don't go anywhere because we still hope to have the interviews, and I will do a quick final comment on this. Bravo, are you still here?
I think he's muted.
No, he's not. Well, neither is no. He didn't even mute himself. He's just probably not. We're waiting. I think at least Basel we will have here. But we are as well still waiting for the final classification to confirm the standings that we have been discussing. Uh, is it a bit fitting that things turned out the way they did? Uh, we have the confirmation of the classification. El Colombiano wins with 249 points. Many congratulations to him. It was a deserved win, despite everything. 7 points ahead of Basso that has 242. In third, Frabo closes with bronze 225. A-Gap actually managed to, unsurprisingly, secure fourth place with that win 161. Boca fifth, 98 points. And Ibra is the one now in the mud with 56, but they could not play last stage. In the final rankings of the KOM, El Colombiano wins with 187 points. Paso was second, 149. That's the top two of the race. A-Gap was third with 145. Trabo was fourth with 80 points only. Another mistake, I think he overlooked the importance of the KOM. Ibra was fifth with 62, and Goga in the KOM classification with 57 points, last place of the KOM. Quick look. The penalty points, whatever the fuck they're called, wouldn't have made a difference for positions. But if this had been closer, they would, and that would have been annoying, to be honest. We are preparing to the podium. We are waiting for if to see if at least Basel comes. Because we would like to hear someone that was in this final. I don't think Alcobiano is coming because he was offline as well. Wait, who? El Colombiano in there? I don't see that anywhere. Okay. El Colombiano says, sorry for not speaking up, but I have to go out and I also almost don't understand. That's fair. Thank you, El Colombiano, for letting us know. Again, many congratulations to you. You are the Scalatore champion, and that was a good race. Ish. I don't think Frabo is willing to talk. Yeah, he left. Not shocked with that. He had one job, keeping up with Boss, so he did, and he worked when he didn't need to even. So it was an egregious ending, and I don't know if I was thinking. We'll have podium in 5 minutes, and given that absolutely no one ever seems to want to talk, let us talk, Joe. El Colombiano wins 7-point lead on Basso, and Basso has a 17-point lead on Frabo, which totals a 24-point lead from first to third. It was still very close. I think Joe is that as well. Joe, are you alive?
I am.
was saying it ended up being very close because 7 points from first to second, 24 points from first to third, and 17 points from second to third.
Yeah, it was pretty close, and yeah, I mean, what can I say really?
You were having an interesting conversation, and while we're recording, we can actually talk a bit about that. Agap seemed to be blaming Lieber for not being third. Does he realize he also wouldn't have likely won this stage if he was higher in the rankings?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like your general Timmy, as what the FIFA community would refer to noobs. It's the typical Timmy thing to say, isn't it? Really, I mean, you've got to look at the first factor is if Agap was closer in the rankings, do you really think Frabo would have gone all in for the stage win and left the podium wide open? No. Do you think Agap would have been gifted so much time? No. Do you also think even with Ibra in the lobby or not, Agap would have even been closer? No. Also,
Can
who's
I
to
just
blame? Who's to blame on stage two? Agap losing 5 minutes with about 30k to go, or
yeah,
Ibra
that
just being in the lobby? I mean,
completely on
come on,
him.
it's not really.
I just want to point out here something in here what you have to think, what you have to say about this because I've been actually alluding to it several times, especially in this final stage. I don't think Frabo thought about the importance. Let's forget whatever shit Hauser he was doing on that final stage because I still don't understand. But I think he underestimated the KOM heavily. Uh, the KOM points were 50 12 on Beyond, 35 to Boss. So 25 to Agap, and 18 to Frabo, then 13 to Uber, 10 to Goga. Uh, if the positions were reversed, if Frabo had won the KOM, he would be the champion of the tournament.
Yeah, but I feel like for someone like Frabber to win KOM, he has to then sacrifice
Or at
his
least second
stage
place.
results.
Do you
You
think
you
that?
can you can only fight for both classifications if you're one of two things: a very skilled player; b, someone who gets so much free space because you're not called X, Y, and Z top player, so everyone just lets you attack for free. And that today was El Colombiano.
Uh, all
And
right.
if you're not one of those things, you cannot simply in this lobby fight for both the KOM and the stages.
And yet, Basso did. I mean, he didn't win it, but he was second, and he
Well, yeah,
was.
because he's a very good player, which is why I think he managed to get into second place without winning the KOM or a single stage.
Exactly. And I was going to do a quick reminder of that. Stage 1 was won by El Colombiano. Stage 2 was won by Ilya Frabo. Stage 3 was won by Agap. Basso did 35 points in the first stage equals a fourth place, and 70 points in the in both stage 2 and stage 3, which gave him a total of 175 points for stages, plus 35 points for KOM, plus 30 points entry. And here it is important to notice that the entry points altered the general classification because without them, Basso would have 212 points and be third. El Colombiano, that had 15, would still have 239 and still win the tournament, but Frabo would be second. So there is that. And that, to me, and in my opinion, in a final, I don't think these people have any business having penalty points or bonus points. But at least the first place was not affected by it. But the other places in the podium were. So there is that. Joe, um, final thoughts on how this ended. It is pretty much the final version, the final edition ever of Scalatore. Was it an appropriate ending? Not really. What would you want to
I
say?
think you know the answer to that. But
Sorry, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear
I
that.
think it shows not necessarily where the tournament has gone, because the tournament will always remain prestigious. I think it shows where the game has gone, and the direction the game has taken, in my opinion, is actually quite frightening because it's just bad. And I think, again, I can't stress it enough. I think this is why even the traditionalists, 'cause I would consider him a pretty traditionalist, who he
Yes.
likes to have 3 or 4 big mythical mountain stages in the tour final. But I think honestly that the traditional rule book just needs to be scrapped up. I don't, when I say rule book, I don't mean the rule book. I mean like the script, the way things people expect it to work. I think it just needs to be completely scrapped.
Yes, but you know this is a climbing tournament, right?
Yeah, I know, which is why I'm saying that Scalatore will remain prestigious because he's not about.
Yeah, but
But what I'm saying is it shows the direction the game has gone.
oh,
The
sorry, I
beauty
completely
of
forgot
mountain
about
stages has been completely lost.
that is true, unfortunately. Hopefully, some video changes can at least help because mountain stages are really fun to play when there's the TL actually involved. I want to point out that we will, as soon as I finish announcing it, we will listen to the Colombian national anthem to honor our winner and have the podium ceremony displayed in your screens. Ladies and gentlemen, let us stand for the Colombian national anthem. Congratulations to El Colombia. Wow, that's a long ass anthem.
피파 랭킹 16위 콜롬비아의
We are back. That was the Colombian national anthem to honor our winner. Felicitaciones para el colombiano. Um, Pienso que esta noche todos hablamos paella. So congratulations to El Colombiano, the winner of Scalatore. I believe the next final is in the Champions League. Um, and with that, many more drama to unfold. I want to personally thank Joe Whiteley for, well, wait, is that actually is a summoning before that? Yeah, it's a final. All finals coming now. Joe, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed this final, despite everything that it was and what it wasn't as well. Uh, was it still a fun final?
Well, it threw up some shocks.
Sorry,
Well, it threw up some shocks, I guess. But I think again we talked about it before the first stage.
We did.
That if this situation was to happen, anyone could win.
All right. I thank you so much. I don't know if you're playing Zominian or not, but we will definitely probably see each other in the Champions League booth and probably on the road as well at some point and on track. Thank you so much for being here, Joe, and best of luck for your future races as well.
Yeah, I'll see you guys later.
Okay. See you later, Joe, and thank you as well to Enea for hosting the final edition, I think the 16th of Trofeo dello Scalatore, and I hope he does return for one more year because it felt like a very anticlimactic ending. Enea, thank you so much for having us, and we'll see you all either at Trofeo Zoningen or the Mighty Champions League. We will also have World Tour back soon. When is it, Enea? Today of the next race, which is we will have Roubaix, Lombardia, Dauphiné, and then Tour de France in 15 days. So from Thursday, 4th of January, it returns. We see the World Tour returning. Before that, we will have, as said, Angel Zoningen. We will have the Treaty Tree Karen of PCM ITA, and then we will turn for World Tour. We will have the IPL as well, returning after the holidays break. We'll have quite a few things to look forward to, and then the Champions League. Ladies and gentlemen, join us for what the future brings. Like I said, Zoningen, Criterium, IPL returns, World Tour for BCM ITA returns as well. Then Champions League, then the World Championships, and then our job will be done by then. So thank you all for joining. Have a great night. I hope you enjoyed this final of the Scalatore, and I hope to see you in the next podcast we still have left until the end of the season. Thank you so much. Have a great night.